This program features live coverage of an African safari and may include animal kills and carcasses. Viewer discretion is advised.
Good morning. Let me switch off this car. Good morning. My name is Ollie, and joining me behind the camera is James. He asked me yesterday that I must stop calling him Uncle James. So today it's James who's on camera. So my mission for today is to look for Tingana, the Duke. He's back. And he was last seen on this road. And the other great thing is that on this road, lions had a kill. The Nkuhumas had worked in Impala yesterday. So we'll be lucky to see Tingana and the Nkuhumas. Who knows? So the weather is cloudy. We're expecting some rains. And we have cool weather today, which is 23 degrees Celsius. And that's about 73 degrees Fahrenheit. And the birds are out calling. They're out and about. I'm using my spotlight to check whether I will see the shining eyes. More especially, they will reflect red. Okay, everyone says I must keep Uncle James. So because yesterday in the camp, he said, no, I must stop calling him Uncle James. I must just call him James. But I'll try by all means to deal with that because it won't be easy. So for any questions and comments, don't hesitate, don't be afraid. We'll love to hear your questions and your comments on #SafariLive. We'd love to ask. We have to answer them. So I must drive as slowly as possible in this block because it's thick and the leopards can easily camouflage. So I'm not alone this morning. The Mara is up and about. Let's go and see Lauren.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to an already beautiful day in the Masai Mara. Now, as you can see, the sky's not quite alive with pink at the minute, but the sun is slowly starting to come out here. So my name is Lauren, and on camera today, I do have James with us. Now, we are on our way to the North Clan Den. We're just going to admire this sunrise for a little bit longer, and unfortunately, we're a little bit later than we wanted to be. We were driving along, and from a distance in the dark I thought it was actually a pile of rocks, but when we got closer we did discover there was a very young, not a cub, but a very young dead hyena in the middle of the road. It was very, very sad to see, so unfortunately that held us up a little bit. Absolutely no idea what could have possibly happened to this hyena. We could only just speculate. I'm going to drive as I talk. But it was rather sad to see. It was definitely a young one, and it was bleeding from the mouth. So we're not sure what happened. But we've taken some information, and of course I'll pass it on to the hyena researchers. So that unfortunately held us up a little bit on our journey. But of course we're on our way now, and we are going to head to the North Clan Den just for a little update to see how they are doing. Now, yesterday was highly entertaining. We had a wonderful drive until we started to have technical difficulties and the whole world decided to go against us in terms of tech. So unfortunately, we had to leave the drive a little bit earlier. But of course, you guys got to see the most wonderful things, including the Duke of my heart, Mr. Tingana, and the Nkuhumas. So it's all good on that front. And as we were actually heading home, the car just decided that there's no more fuel. I don't know why it decided that. And there was no more fuel. So we were stuck in the middle of the Mara, in the dark, with no fuel. So as highly entertaining as that was, we did have to get a rescue mission to come and get us. So, Kirsty's saying that's terrible. Yes, it really was. It was a very fun night, and from getting stuck during the day to getting stuck at night on a whole different level, it's been a very entertaining day yesterday. So fingers crossed, absolutely nothing goes wrong today in terms of tech, cars, gremlins, anything else that could possibly go wrong. So please make sure you send your good vibes for me today, because I think yesterday made up for all that nonsense. Now, I've already talked too much without reminding you to send in your questions and comments, because that's important, using that hashtag SafariLive. And hopefully it is going to be an awesome sunrise safari here in the Mara. I just feel a little bit sad about that hyena. I know it's nature and things happen, but it just made me feel a little bit sad. Liz is asking, what animals can we see early in the morning? And that's a really interesting question, because this sort of time of day, when the sun is just coming up and the lights, it's not great, you know. Well, let's say good morning to these impalas, wild weeks. Oh, hello. There's a whole load of them here. Good morning. I love it when they look at you like this. So yeah, it's a strange time of day in terms of light. It's actually not that easy to see as a human. And this is when the nocturnal animals, the nighttime animals, are sort of finished with their duty, and they're actually probably going somewhere to rest or going somewhere to sleep, or then nighttime is over. And the diurnal animals, the daytime animals, are starting to wake up, beginning to feed, beginning to sort of move into different areas like your impalas here. They have probably spent a very scary night out here huddled together in an open clearing like this. Impalas much prefer open clearings, as they can see and hear all around them. Impalas, and actually all the antelopes, like to be able to see. They can see, they know what's coming. So they huddle together like this group here, probably against the wind and all the elements as well. And then, of course, they can alert one another if something does go wrong. So that is the general way it works out here. So this is one of my favorite times to come out, when the sun is actually coming up and the sort of nighttime animals are going away and the daytime animals are coming up. Goodbye. I always say this, but it can't be an easy life being an impala or any sort of antelope out here with the amount of predators we have here. So we're going to make our way to this den, but for now we'll send you across to Tolly, who's looking for leopards and lions.
Indeed, Lauren, this is the best time for driving. Early mornings are always the best, because, you know, the cats, lions, leopards are active during dusk and dawn. That's why we hardly see the pangolins, the aardvarks, because they know that the lions will be, or leopards will be active early evening, and then around 10, 11, 12, 1, 2, then that's when they start being more active. So when we are up and awake, we'll hardly see them, because they will go back to their den sites. The aardvarks will go back to their holes. And what's so interesting about an aardvark is that for us not to see aardvark, or hardly to see it, it's because they don't use one hole. Let's say they were foraging or feeding around here, and then it gets, oh, nothing there. So if they're late, they will just dig there and sleep in there, and then they will come up at night again. They will use a different hole the next time. So I'm driving around this block. No tracks, nothing. It's difficult for me to see the tracks, but I will try my means to find you a cat this morning. I'll move forward there a little bit. I'll stop and listen, because, you know, if Tingana is around. Lily, is it evening in South Africa now? Oh, what's the season in South Africa? It's we are nearly out of the summer season, and we will be approaching the cold season in a short period. But now we have a lot of rain, and it's cloudy. You can see it looks tricky. It seems like it's winter, but it's still summer. So I'm listening for calls. You know, if the lions are feeding, they will make sounds. And Tingana, if he's in a property, you know, he will saw or he will whack something. Maybe we'll see an action, or we might see Tingana feeding. Who knows? Because there were a lot of impalas. It's the best time. So yes, did you hear the nice calls from birds? We had from black-headed oriole. It's a colorful bird. It's yellow, and the head is black. That's why it's called a black-headed oriole. And I had a white-browed scrub robin. And sometimes they're tricky, these calls, because we have territorial calls, we have advertising calls, we have happy calls and sad calls. So no sounds from our special cats, but I'll keep on searching and digging. Julie, can we look for a chameleon? I will try by all means to look for a chameleon, but remember the chameleons we have here, they are so well camouflaged around this place, and it's thick, and they resemble the leaves, so we need to search and search and search and search. But we'll be lucky because you've mentioned a chameleon this morning. Who knows, Juma will bless us with one chameleon. So I'm driving around in this thick place. So let's go to Lauren in search of the Northland.
So we're not quite there yet, but we are on our way, don't worry. We are on our way to the North Clan Den. Now, I did tell you all I'm going to spend a little bit more time there. We're going to check in very regularly at this den just to try and see if we can get an update on the clan and what is actually happening there. Now, as we saw the other day, there is actually a lot more cubs. So we're going to try and get some photos of the cubs and try and work out who is who and what has happened to Waffles and her hierarchy. So that is the plan just for the morning, and we will move on. Now, last night we were with a lioness who it has been confirmed was a Mugoro lioness, and she was with a topi. Now, this is the exact location she was. So I just want to stop and have a look. So James, you know this lone tree over here? That's exactly where the lioness was with the topi. Now, I don't imagine there will be anything left, but let's just, under the tree. There we go. It is completely empty and void of anything, which was to be expected. But this is exactly where she was. And she did have a huge, very untouched and full topi that we believe she had killed herself. And that's where it was. So everything's gone. I wonder what did happen last night out here in the wilderness. Now, when we were there, well, that's when we began to have technical difficulties, of course. And there was hyenas calling from all directions with their whoop. something like that. And there was male lions roaring. We did encounter the Triangle Boys Coalition. Now, we only saw 2 of them. There normally is 3 of them. So we think that the male lions were also coming in to have a sniff and see what was going on. So it's very unfortunate that we had to leave at that point due to the evil gremlins. However, it was worth just checking this area to see what had happened. So whether the lioness managed to keep her dinner or whether it was stolen, the question remains to be answered. But I have a funny feeling I know exactly what happened. D. Lionheart is asking on an update on the Sausage Tree Pride. Well, actually, we do have an update. We went to look for them yesterday, where I managed to get myself stuck in the marsh, and we could not locate them. But apparently, around midday yesterday, they were actually seen with the cubs. So that is something that we also will work on today. And yesterday, after the morning's drive, Manu and myself spent hours out here. We had breakfast at 12 p.m. Yes, you don't eat here in Namara. It's perfect diet. So we spent hours looking for the Owinos and their cubs. But the mother, who we believe is Butternut, has completely moved them. These cubs are very new and very young, so it's most likely that she's moved them a lot and we really could not locate them. So we will continue to search for the Owinos and the cubs, and we will go back and check up on the Sausage Tree Pride. Do not worry. I am planning on being out here for most of today with my nuts and bananas. It's not easy being out here. There's so much things happening at once, you do actually just forget to eat. But as long as I've got coffee, you all know that's absolutely fine. I can survive. It would be good to actually see the Triangle Boys again, as we did see them yesterday. Dory's saying that's not breakfast, that's brunch. I actually think it's lunch. Yeah, I think once it hits noon, it becomes lunch, I think. So, yeah, you're right. My apologies. It was not breakfast. I just assumed it was breakfast because it was the first meal of my day. But Manu and myself were determined so much to find these cubs, and we went round every single potential den site, including the one they were found at, and we just could not locate them. So I do believe they will still be in that area. I don't think she'll have moved them too far, but we were just not able to locate them. But I will not give up. You all know me, and I have not seen a lion cub yet. So I'm preparing for my heartstrings to be absolutely torn apart once I do spot them. So it is our mission for today. I just first want to check on these hyenas. The morning time, this time's the perfect time to check on them, and there's normally lots of activities at the den. So of course we did hope to be here sooner if it wasn't for our little incident earlier. But it will still be active, especially with these temperatures. It's really chilly today. Oh, a few viewers are asking about Patricia. I have missed calling him Patricia. Well, Patrick is arriving today. Can you believe it? All the way from Australia. So he will arrive today, but we're not sure what time. We do hope he makes it in one piece. Pat is not highly organised, so he will be with us all tomorrow. And you will have the 2 fish together. Oh, traffic. Traffic's so bad here these days. You will have the 2 fish together taken on Namara, given it from our perspective. And of course, Patrick has been here before. It will not be his first time. So you will have the 2 of us, and we will try and cover as much ground as we can out here. The thing with the Mara, as wonderful as it is that it's so vast and it's so huge that you can't be everywhere at once, of course. So the 2 of us will split up and try and cover as much as we can, including all the lion prides and the hyenas. Oh, I hate it when the birds are on the road. When I was actually learning to drive many moons ago, no, actually, I shouldn't say that. It wasn't really that long ago. I was learning to drive, and unfortunately, there was a very small bird on the road, and I thought it was going to move, and it didn't move, and yes, that's traumatized me for life. So anyway, enough bad stories for this morning. So I'm going to get to this den as soon as I can, but for now, let's send you back to Tolly, who is still driving around.
Yes, my frogs are calling. Can you hear them? Nice one. This is the foamless frog I was a few days ago. I promised to check here often. We saw these frogs laying eggs. So I would love to see the tadpoles falling into the water. I'm using my binoculars because I can't see what's happening there. Yes, I'm also loving the sound, and the viewers are also loving the sound. Very great sound. This is one of my favorite sounds in the world. I'm trying to spot one. Maybe I'll be lucky to see one. Looking around.
Sounds like there's one on the somewhere.
I can't see properly. Maybe there's some on that log there, but there's 3 frogs. They can camouflage very well. So I need to be extra careful when searching. Let's leave our frogs for now. I think I'll leave them because there's nothing much happening here, only the beautiful sounds. You can't hear these calls during the day. That's why I love them, because you can only hear them at a particular time of the day. I can't see any frog here. Maybe there might be 1 or 2 or 3 there. Ravenda, where exactly am I right now? We're talking about maybe a location in South Africa, in Kruger National Park, or the location in the reserve. I'm on this road called Ingwe Alley, next to this beautiful pen you can see over here, where we saw the frogs mating. Where we saw these beautiful frogs mating and creating this foam nest. So I promised last week to come and revisit this spot often, so that I can see whether I might be lucky to show you the tadpoles falling from the nest to the river, to this pen. I'm searching and searching. James Henry's doing his great camera work there. And this tree is called a tamboti, but it's dead. It was a tamboti, but it's still a tamboti, I can say that. And tamboti, they're known to be toxic. But this one, because it's dead, I don't think it will affect this water hole. We're not lucky. Let me try forward. These are the calls. I know I love bird calls, but the frogs, I love them more than that. Because you can only hear these calls during a specific time of the year. Can't hear them all year round like birds. And look at the horizon there. It looks as if it's raining. But we're expecting lots and lots of rain. Have to check pens to pens. And it, you know, looking for leopards or cats, it's tricky during the wet season because you find a lot of water holes. So they don't use those specific water holes anymore because they have access to water everywhere in the reserve. So that's why we have to search thoroughly, and it's not easy for us to search because you can see this water hole, it's only here temporarily, so it will fade. I'm driving around. Hopefully, I'll see a cat. But for now, let's get some help from a bushwalk team.
Good morning, everybody. I feel like a school teacher today because that's what I used to say to my teacher when I was greeting them. Hello, everybody. My name is Taylor. And on camera with me today is Senzo. And also on bushwalk with us today is Rexon. And we're going to try and be as awkward as possible on this bushwalk. How exciting. Now, it's still a little bit dark. It shouldn't be dark, but the cloud cover is particularly thick today. So I don't know how me showing you any animals far away is going to work. It's also a little bit early for the insects, so we're just going to talk lots and lots of nonsense initially, and then we'll wait for it to start lightening up again, and then we'll carry on with our bushwalk this morning. But do remember to hashtag SafariLive and talk to us via the YouTube chat. We want to hear everything you have to say. And also, Collie, good luck with finding a cat. I also hope you find a cat. We haven't quite decided what we're going to do this morning. We're umming and ahhing because it could potentially pour with rain, and then we don't want to get wet. There's a bit of a sprinkle at the moment, not anything particularly hectic. So, yeah, shall we go that way? Because I do see one zebra. Okay, Senzo, no, it's not by the fence. There is a zebra. Where's your friend? Yesterday, the day before, the McCurdy-Hurdy. I don't know if it was the McCurdy-Hurdy. There were like 7 zebra running around on these open plains, and Craig and I scared them because we were running around too. And they didn't seem to enjoy that very much. But I don't know where the rest of them have gone now. Just one. So that's interesting. Maybe the rest are already up top. Kirsten has requested a chameleon. So Kirsten is directing the show today. She always gives the most ridiculous requests. I have not seen a chameleon once since we've been back, and I've been looking. Shining the spotlight. Doing this. Can't find anything. So I don't really know where they all are. I don't know why there are no chameleons. They should be here now. It's warm. So yeah, I don't know. We're just going to walk. My fashion today is the tied around the waist look. Like this, which is very nice. I've got maroon socks on. You can't see them because they're secret socks. Don't look. Make me ankle shy, Senzo. Senzo's not going to fall over this log as payback. I was in 2 minds about bringing a jersey, but now I'm going I shouldn't. I might have to tie it to a tree. It's very warm. Okay, so we'll just keep walking. I'll put it here. So yeah. I've been trying to get the smell of elephant dung off my hands desperately. It was really gross. It wouldn't come off the whole of yesterday, but it's gone now. Aiden, who is only 7 years old. Hello, Aiden. I'm going to try and find you either a tortoise or a terrapin, but it might be a little bit early right now. I think as the day progresses, we'll have a better chance at finding one of those animals. But right now, it's too early and they're still sleeping. The tortoises are still tucked away in their garages. Oh, look, it's the zebra that's running. You can even hear it. Not as light on its feet as the impala, that's for sure. Where's your friends? Impala all leaping as well. Oh, I love watching that. Bounce, bounce, bounce. Off they go. Wonderful. I have no idea why they're running. We'll probably start running too, just in case. I feel like that's what they do on Jurassic Park. Whenever they see some of those dinosaurs running, the people just start running too. Right, off you go to Lauren, who's not running. She's driving, and she's almost at the North Clan Den.
Yes, I am still driving because we are still trying to get to these hyenas. It's not an easy task, and we did actually watch a huge raptor, and I'm not even sure which species of raptor it was, just swoop down and catch a snake. But while we're driving, you know me, I always like to give you the most beautiful view of the sunrise. Let's just take a moment and have a look at that. The sun has really came up now, so we're winning with the light. Look at that. Sometimes when the sun is rising behind you and you're driving in the opposite direction, you actually just forget to stop and take a look. But I'm consciously trying to take a look every single day that I'm out here. Glorious. It's going to be another fantastically hot day. So I just thought I would show you that. Let me now try and figure out exactly how to get out of here and continue on our way to the North Clan. Hold on to your hat, James. It's always a little bit bumpy when Lauren's reversing. Nina Moo is asking which animals sound scary at night around the Mara camp. Well, interestingly enough, I'm full of stories this morning. Must have had too many beans for dinner last night. Dear Emma is staying with us in camp, and she did hear a lot of activity happening outside her tent last night. So rather, we have some elephants up ahead. Let me just get a little bit closer. Rather scary stuff. We do sleep in beautiful tents, and something appeared to have been killed during the night outside her tent. So we're all a little bit cautious this morning because, of course, we wake up in the pitch black, which is a joy. But this animal that sounds the scariest for me, especially at Juma, and I would go with the Mara too, is the lions. I mean, that voice box that they have is designed so differently from ours. It's called a suspensorium, and it's made with cartilage. It's non-ossified, so it's not held in place with bone like ours, so it vibrates. I'm just going to stop to get a beautiful view of these elephants in the morning. So the voice box vibrates, and the reason for that is so that it can travel, the noise that they make can travel great distances, and it's so loud. I remember waking up one night at Juma in the middle of the night, and trust me, not much wakes me up other than my alarm when I'm sleeping. And these lions, I thought they were right outside my door. My heart was pounding. And it turns out, of course, they were not right outside my door. They were much further away. But the noise just penetrates the air, and it just feels like they're right next to you. So I've not quite heard that in the camp at the Mara yet, but I know the scariest noise for me at night time is the lions. But talking of scary noises, elephants can produce some resonating sounds as well through their trunk. When an elephant is not happy, my goodness, you hear it. Not necessarily at night time, but during the day, you will indeed really hear the elephants, and it can be quite terrifying. Now, looking at the path ahead, it is going to take us a little bit of time to get along here. I think the elephants are completely blocking the path. And look at this young one little here. Oh, adorable. There's something about a young elephant, I don't know, that's just the way their trunk just does not reach the ground, and they don't really know what to do with it. They try to copy the adults, they try to mimic what they're doing, but really they have no idea how to operate such an organ. It takes a lot of years to learn how to use their trunk. Just by doing and watching and practicing. Look at them all. There's just elephants everywhere at the minute. We saw so many yesterday and so many this morning already. There we go. There's more. As long as you continue along here, there's just more and more elephants. It's beautiful. Look at it just chewing. They're obviously feeding. It's breakfast time, real proper breakfast time, not Lauren's version of breakfast time. So it's obviously early morning feeding for them. Elephants don't sleep throughout the whole night like we do. So they'll have been walking and travelling a lot throughout the night, protecting their young ones, of course. The young ones do need to sleep. And it is hilarious when you see a young elephant sort of take a tantrum and just decide, I'm tired, I'm not walking anymore, and I am just going to collapse and sleep onto the ground. So I believe Toli has another elephant in South Africa. So from elephant to elephant, let's go and see what's happening.
Yes, I have an elephant, Lauren, but not a cute baby elephant, a matured one. It's a matured bull. It's massive. He's about 20, 22, 25 years, just around there. As you can see, let me stop here. Stop. Let me go to the side there so to get a nice view there. These bulls are confusing because we have this one with one tusk, and these ones that they look alike. Like they have two tusks. So I have to know how to differentiate these bulls. Maybe he will drink water there. Let me move forward a little bit. He's here. Yes. This is what I call $1 million walk. Oh, you can see the skin there. Has wrinkled skin. What I've just learned recently about the elephant skin is that the young ones are born weighing 100 kgs, and they have this beautiful skin. But let me move forward. They have this skin that has that forms wrinkles when they grow, and then and that skin grows fatter or bigger, and then they form these long cracks. And then those cracks are what we see right now, which are called wrinkles. And then that's where they trap moisture for temperature reasons, like for thermoregulator reasons. Becky, your skin is getting more and more like this elephant one. I'm sorry, I think you have to use some body lotions or maybe some things to keep your skin nice and fresh. Helps you cool down your body. Is moving into the bushes. Oh, this place can be difficult sometimes during wet season. Oh, and the elephants, they can easily camouflage. Just look at him from this distance and see whether we'll... But he's giving us his back. And I thought he was going to drink in one of these pens here, but nothing. Ooh. And this is the area where the lions were last seen. And what's so incredible about lions is that if they kill an impala, an antelope, like impala, like kudu, or the small medium antelopes, if I can put it that way, they feed it quick. And then that's why we hardly see lions eating maybe a kudu or an impala because of the size of their prey. Yes, they've killed something last night, but I'm sure they've moved because they finished everything there, looking for a better meal or an extra meal. I love seeing elephants because they are my cousins. Oh, this termite mound, I nearly thought it was an elephant because of the color. Ooh. 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 So I think I'll get a nice view for you. But for now, let's go to Taylor with the small little things.
Look at what we found. This very sleepy caterpillar on it looks like a string of stars. A plant, which is very cool to see, but it's not doing anything right now. It's not eating, it's not walking. It is just being a sleepy caterpillar and relaxing right now. That's quite cool. I'm not sure if it's feasting upon this particular plant. I can't remember ever really seeing any caterpillars on the string of stars plant, but maybe some of you do remember, and you can hashtag SafariLive and let me know. But I'm trying to think. I don't know if the colours are not really popping on the camera, but I can see some orange on it. There's a fair bit of yellow. I think it's a fairly young caterpillar still. Well, I mean, obviously we know how tiny their eggs are, but they grow super, super quickly. I'm sure it's going to get a bit bigger than that. So it's really pretty. I think its little feet are also sort of an orangey red colour, which is quite nice. But I'm sure as the day progresses, it will start munching away, and a caterpillar of this size can pretty much eat an entire plant very, very quickly. I know the gardeners don't like them very much, because they will devour their plants, but they've got to eat too, I suppose, which is quite cool. Well, that's nice to see. I won't be putting this one on my face, though, Senzo. It's got a few hairs on it. We know that hairy caterpillars are not ones you want to touch, so we shall leave it. Not as hairy as the one we saw yesterday. Oh. Fleetwood? Yes, I can do that. But I haven't had a manicure, so don't judge me, okay? I'm supposed to do my hand for scale here. Look, it's so tiny. I'm trying to think what we can do. I'm trying to find a... Let me put my thumb here. This is easier. This is my thumb. There we go. Wonderful. Yoop. Kirsten is not judging me on my nails. It's fine, Kirsten. You can pay for me when I'm back in Johannesburg to go for a manicure. How about that? How does that sound, Kate Hart? Yeah. Right, let's go. Let's go. On a Friday. Yes, please, can we? I have not been for a facial or anything like that, and I've been going all over the world recently, and my skin needs some much tender loving care. I don't know where Rickson's going, because we didn't have Tundi here. We had Tundi in the west, but we'll go and locate him. We were supposed to go look for Tundi, but now he's distracted, I think, hey? Although this really isn't Tundi's territory down this side. It's unusual for her to be so far west. I mean, like we've all been discussing, perhaps she's picked up on Shidulu's scent and is just coming to investigate. But she needs to be careful. Tundi is moving on with age, and these young lasses that are around here, they're a lot more fit than she is. So, yes, she's got experience on her side, but we know how big Shidulu is. It obviously was suspected that Sibuya gave Tundi a bit of a hiding a little while back. So she needs to watch herself. She needs to think carefully. But anyway, somebody else that always thinks carefully is Collie. He's got an elephant, and I don't know what the elephant is doing. Probably eating.
Talking about the cats, I'm looking at this beautiful backside of this male elephant. It's beautiful, hey? I don't want to harass him. I'm just following him because I want to get this nice and comfortable view. There's a water hole not far from here, and there's 2 roads ahead, so I will try by all means to get a spot so that I can see his face. What a nice walk there. He's walking as if he's wearing stilettos. I call them the giant silent walkers because, you know, they're so big, but you can only hear them when they're around, when they are breaking a branch. But if you were walking in opposite direction, you wouldn't be able to hear that an elephant is coming. The big guys. And these silent walkers, they can weigh up to 7 tons. That's 7,000 kgs. That's kilograms. Oh, he's taking a poo there. The marulas from the marula tree are really gone now. Those nuts they contain this white. Yes, I also it's crazy, eh? And if it smells very nice. James, can you please go to that tail where it starts there? You can see like this is a long nose that has a smile underneath there. Nice one. It's giving me a nice bum look, you can say. The droppings are smelling nice. We have a little bit of gremlins. Let's go back to Taylor.
Oh, sorry about that. We're currently watching a larvae of a beetle of some sort. It's not particularly big, which I suspect is probably not going to be a dung beetle larvae, although you get different species of dung beetle. I don't know why I say stupid things like that. Anyways, the reason why I know that it's a beetle is because it's got 6 legs. So unlike a caterpillar that has legs all the way down its body, this one has only got 3 pairs of legs on either side, quite close to the top half. I don't know why I'm pointing at this like I'm using a wand. Wingardium Leviosa. That would be really great if this thing would now hover above us so that we could have a closer look at its legs. But I didn't get my letter to Hogwarts, so that won't be happening. Now, I'm surprised that it's out. Normally they would be buried underneath the ground or in dug on a pile of leaves or something like that, because it's exceptionally vulnerable out here, and a starling or a hornbill would quite happily feast upon that. But maybe with all the rain that we have had, I don't know, the area that it was is just too saturated. It's trying to find a new spot to sort of go to. But you're going the wrong way. You need to go this way, turn. Go the other side, because you're now out on the road and you're going to get eaten. And that's called natural selection, because you've made a bad choice, my friend, coming out this way. Anyways, you can see, look how it's desperately trying to burrow. Shame. You see, you're lucky that I'm here and I'm going to help you. Grab the stick. Grab the stick. Look how it's trying to pretend like it's a snake. Did you see that, Senzo? It's like trying to scare me. You can't scare me. I'm going to put it here. Come, look here. Go. Yeah. There we go. I threw it underneath some devil's thorn. Then we got something else. Oh, it's on the move again, Senzo. This is a cool little creature over here. Now, it's not a mildred. It's a mini mildred. It's called a pill bug, and I haven't actually seen one for a very long time, but they go by I can't tell you how many different names. Woodlouse, some people call them the potato bug, and watch what happens if I do touch it. It's got a pretty cool defense mechanism, very much like an armadillo or a pangolin. Oi, oi, I'm a bird. Peck, 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 peck. And look, it rolls into a little ball like magic. So that's pretty cool. Now, it's got very, very sort of hard outer coating, and which would make it quite difficult for something like a starling to even pick up. And it's very, very smooth, so it's almost quite slippery. It's not that it's secreting a slime or anything like that. It's just that the surface is super smooth. It's able to tuck its legs in completely, as if a tortoise was trying to hide away or a pangolin was trying to, keep away. and when it feels relaxed again, it will open up again. But the interesting thing about pill bugs is that they're probably more closely related to something like a shrimp or a crustacean of some sort, rather than any other insect, which I think is quite fascinating. So yeah, so that's this little thing over here. And you can see them everywhere. They're also different types of colors, like you see with millipedes. You know, this one has got some kind of sort of orange that is quite dramatic coming through the black. But it also needs to get off of the road because it's either going to get squashed by a car or a bird might try and snap it up. So we'll let it carry on with its afternoon. It's morning. Off you go back to Collie, who's having a great time. The elephant is now not walking or eating. It's having a drink.
We have a beautiful family here. And if you can count these areas, there are a lot. But you can't hear anything while they are moving. You see, this big bull over here is the one that confuses me with the other bull. The other bull is on its way here. We left it on the back side there. Maybe it will be here in a few minutes. It can be more than a minute or two. But you know, elephants, they can communicate from far. This is really a huge herd. We have the young ones, we have the old ones, we have the teenagers there. At long last, Lauren, I also got my baby elephants here. They were here for a drink, and this one's still drinking. Oh, I wish I could see the front view while they're drinking. It's so amazing. So they're in a neighboring reserve. This is amazing. And you can see they start moving because the matriarch said so. That's what they do. But for now, this one is still thirsty. Oh, sorry about that. We are with the people here. Ooh. Oh, they want to be on camera. Oh, that guy is getting, lady's getting frustrated at the back there. Oh, just came right straight at us. Oh, here's our bull on the left, but it's in a thicket. And you can see this one is a young chap. It's a young male. As you can see, the little thing there. You know, they love playing. And sometimes these young ones, they are the one that cause problems because they will come running at you like trumpeting, and then they are, oh, taking a poo there. What a nice morning feeling. You know, it's so great to take or to do what he's doing early in the morning before you start your day. So they will come trumpeting, and then that's when their parents will, or the whole herd will start to panic and intervene. As the bull comes, it will show itself to the herd. It means because this bull came right straight to this herd, it means he was smelling them. And then remember, the females are attracted to the bulls who are on mast. Here's the bull we're following. That was showing us his back. Yes, man. I wonder how thick are those ears, because when they shake their head and then they make this sound, you know, when you hit the rubber with your hand, rubber material, it produces such a sound. So I wonder how thick are those things. And those are the sensitive, that's a sensitive part in an elephant ear. Jim, if they whip their ears, their ears bleed. Yes, I think their ears, they do sort of about the pole. We have a roof because of this bleak weather. They do. Let me quickly have a nice view there. They do bleed because remember, ears are parts of the is a part of the body. So this is where everything happens, I can say. Or this is the part they use to cool their body temperature. So it does bleed because if you can look close, you can see the veins there. The veins in it. So it simply means there's a flow of blood. Definitely will bleed. Oh, nice looking skin there. And I will show you a bird. Sorry about the pole. Oh, let's go to this. Oh, it's also showing us our back. There's this one, James thing. There are birds who are feeding while these giants are walking, like drongos. I'll give you an opportunity to see them if they are close. Oh, there's some sand shower there. Oh, here's our big giant. Is showing us his face now. Here's our big giant here, showing us his face at long last. He came here because they do visit or revisit their herd, and they also like spending their time alone. Because you know, if you are a young boy or a boy who have reached his sexual maturity, then you just want to be away from your parents sometimes. Just do whatever you want to do. But they do come back and visit, and sometimes when they're in must, they do mate. This is one of the big heads I've seen. So we have these big giants with big ears. So let's go to Taylor. Taylor, she wants to play a game with ears.
So we're going to play a little game. We're going to play a game of, can you figure out what Senzo and I have here? Or who did this? You can choose whatever you want to call the game, but that's one of the clues. That thing over there. Then, what else should we show them, Senzo? What do you want to go to next? Look at that. Oh, all the clues. What was that? I have no idea. What are we looking at? Ooh. Ah. Then we'll give you one last clue. I feel like that's probably not investigation music, hey? Needed to be a little bit serious, like the CSI music or something. I don't know. April, you've already got a guess and you said it's Bigfoot. So hashtag SafariLive with your answers or comment on the YouTube chat. We'll give you a little while. I'm going to show you something else while we wait. Let me pick it. Ta-da! You all know what this is, but maybe there are some people who don't know what this is. This is... Oh, what did I squash? Sorry, Senzo. I squashed something and then I accidentally dropped the flower. So this is, of course, a type of camelina. We get two species of camelina here in South Africa. We have, that's how South Africans say South Africa. It's South Africa. S-E-F-F-A... No, it's not with an A. It's E-F. Africa. South Africa. I hope you're all saying that out loud. Got to have that accent too. So this is the Camelina that shouldn't really occur here. This is bengalensis, the yellow one, which is Africana, which is the one that occurs naturally in Africa. But this one you can find all over Asia, and it was quite cool because I saw it in South Asia when I was in Sri Lanka. I was like, hey, that's a familiar flower. But then I was umming and ahhing between the two species, but we came to the conclusion that it was indeed Camelina bengalensis. Now, it is wonderful because if you're prone to eye irritations like I am, like I love this plant a lot and I use it quite regularly, is that if you have to look closely again, there's little hairs on this plant, but don't worry, they don't hurt you. But watch when I squeeze this little, Senzo told me when you're focused, and I squeeze. Oh, look at that. That stuff, which has got an interesting texture to it. It's a little bit slimy. If you can find someone with steady hands, you can squeeze that into your eye and it will provide some relief. And my eyes itch all the time, especially because of all the pollen and dust. And sometimes when I see a picture of Kirsten, my eyes hurt too. Right. Wonderful. We're going to let your answers come on through now, so keep typing, get your guesses in. I know it's very vague, but I think it's quite easy. It's just to see how many of you are awake. Off you go to Collie with the elephants.
This is indeed a big fella. This is not our elephant that we were following earlier on. This is the one who's busy chasing off our elephant from this head, because you can see he's testing something or smelling something from these females. I think he's smelling estrus. We might get an opportunity to see the elephants mounting, and our fella is not far from this head. And look at these tusks, massive. Barbara, do you ever give the elephant names? Yes, indeed. I only know one elephant that has a name. It's called Darrell. He spends most of his time around quarantine. That's the area next to our camp. He normally visits us there and say hello. But some elephants, they don't have names. And some we just, not like exact names, but we just give them according to their looks. Because we have this one with a single tusk, so we call him one tusker. So let me get a nice view for you. So it's not easy to name the elephants, or to name the elephants, because we have them, unless if there's this one that you see every day or most of the time, then that's when you'll give that elephant a name. So there's a huge head there, and there's our guy there. Our guy is just there, just busy trying to convince this one female to move away from this head. Let me go a little bit forward here. Oh. Oh, the viewers are saying there was an elephant called Feng. That one I know, but it's been a while, hey, not seeing that elephant, because it has this tusk that it goes down and bends to the back. So I will try the dam wall there, because I don't have a nice view here. I promise I'll give you this nice view. Here's our guy here. You see our guy? He's been chased off. He looks massive, but the one who's in that head, he's massive. Stay chilled. We've been with you since morning, hey? Stay chill. So I'm going to a dam. Here's a dam wall. I'm getting this nice aerial view so that I will... Is it good here, Golden? Yep. Yes. At long last, we have his face. Sorry about the pole. Ooh. Ooh, please. Oof, what? Okay. Let me just push backwards. Let me push backwards and kill him just for a few meters. Yeah. Yeah. Yes. You see, this guy has been chased away from that head, and then there's this female from that head. So he's convincing him. He's convincing her. You can see there's some touching going on there. I'm sure he's talking about popcorns, a movie. Oh, apparently I heard that there were elephants mating in a damn camp. Yeah. Maybe it's one of these guys, or maybe it's this guy, who knows, because he was from the damn camp site. So maybe it was this guy. So now he's trying to show us another action. Who knows? Oh, this female doesn't look interested. I wonder how they're going to climb this steep. I've seen them doing that. I'll also love them to hear. I can't hear any rumbles. They were trumpeting. Megan, what do elephants smell like? I promise you, now I can't smell anything. But you remember this guy when you're following him? He defecated. And it smelled like, you know, there's... Ooh, what kind of a smell is this? You know when, if you have a dog, and then a dog defecates outside and it rains, and then the dog feces gets wet, and then that's the smell you'll get. Something like that. But it's nice, eh? It depends. Nice. It depends whether you like it or not, because for me, or like these weird smells, I find them nice, and these nice smells sometimes I find them weird. That's my opinion. But for now, they don't smell unless there's a bull in must. You see that one? This is a massive bull, which is more massive than this one. Yeah. So if this one is in must, he can stink, hey? He can stink. And look at his face. You can see this guy is full of anger there. He's short-tempered, this one. Yeah. And he looks scary. And here's a young one there. Just some cousin or some daddy conversations. So I'm enjoying the sighting. I'm sure you're also enjoying the sighting. But for now, let's go to Taylor with the feedback.
Right, so I've heard some rumblings coming from Final Control that all of you, not all of you, but a fair amount of you have suggested that I created this mess. I mean, I know that I do these kinds of things regularly, but that would have taken me a whole long time. Look how deep this is. I don't know if I could have dug this, even if I really tried, even if I stood here like this and went like a dog. I don't think I could have at all dug such a deep hole. So let's hear some guesses. Kirsten, I'm ready. stand in my little hole now. Shamson, you are wrong today. Unfortunately, you don't win any prize. It is not a giraffe that was here. What would a giraffe be doing, though? What would do you think it's just like, bee? Becky, you are also incorrect today. You've said a rhinoceros. Yes, I mean, I would suspect this from a rhinoceros, especially a male, if he was scraping and scent marking, but it is not a rhinoceros. Ding, 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 ding. Shelley and Sarah, the 2 S's, you win because, yes, it was indeed an elephant. And I'm actually thinking it was probably that elephant bull that Collie has because it's kind of going in that direction. So an elephant was here. See, that footprint we showed you there's now a rock in it. The rock wasn't there, I don't think. I think we might have kicked it. You can go away. So here's the toe here. Here's the big round part of the foot. Here's another big elephant track over here. So he was having a grand old time. It looked like he was pulling up some bits of grass, like you can see. And these are the exposed roots. And what I think he was mainly doing is trying to cover himself with some moist sand. Because, you know, who doesn't love a little moist shower of sand in the morning? I know I don't, but elephants do. It's one of their favorite things. So that's what this elephant was doing over here. And then he continued strolling down the road, just having a great time. Elephants don't walk like this, a big chunk. And maybe if he's a bull, he was doing the sway. And then if he saw Senzo and I, he would go and shake himself at me. Anyways, so that's probably what that elephant was doing. And now he's drinking water, which we should probably do as well, Senzo, because it's very important to stay hydrated on a walking safari and to have a little snack every now and then. We are going to have to find a white berry bush because I'm starving all of a sudden. Okay. Oh, look, Senzo, a fly. Lots of flies here on the silver cluster. Just flew away. How unusual. There's still another one hiding. You're quite right. There's a very teeny tiny fly. I was going to show you a much bigger one, but I didn't want to stay away. Oh well, right. Even though I was behaving like an elephant, I don't think I do a good elephant impression. Off we go back to Collie, who is still sitting with them large beasts.
It's not a catty day today. It's an elephant day. See this big guy over here? I think I'll go and grab him with his tusk because he's chasing away our fella. Our fella is moving away from us now, but we are stuck with this one big tusker. And he's the only big male here. See, he's feeding on grasses. And they can feed up to 250 kilograms of food each day. You see, he was drinking, and then he splashed himself on his forehead. That's what they normally do. And sometimes elephants, if you see them drinking, and that's for sure, that's clean water. And when they go to a pen and find out that that water doesn't taste well, is not clean for them, they will only splash that water. They won't drink. And on your TV screen, I know this elephant looks very small, a tiny little thing, but I promise, I tell you, this guy is big. And you see the trunk, it's fat. I'm sure this small part of the trunk you see right now, it can be the size of my 4 thighs combined. Yeah, I think this fella is big. And it will be nice if we can come this way and pass here, and so that we can see how big this fella is. Carol, do elephants keep themselves on their own mast? No, Carol. When they're on mast, they don't want to see themselves or spend time alone. They just want females. So that's why they bother the head. They smell the head. They go there. They look for females, and females are also attracted to the bulls that are in mast. And you can see this one. It's not in mast. This one, because I didn't see any dripping from the penis. But we'll get a nice view and check whether he's in mast. And I did smell something. I think this guy is in mast. Yes, indeed, he is in the mast. This guy. That's why he chased that bull away. Now I can smell an elephant. It smells like rotten meat. Your ladies are leaving you behind. You will have to run to get to the head, and this guy can stink. So while I'm looking at this wonderful stinky guy, let's go to the hyena den.
Yes, we are still here, and yes, we are still alive. Oh, good morning. It took us a little bit of a while to find the den, I'm not going to lie to you. You were all asking about my navigational skills yesterday, and I think you brought me some bad luck. We did take a slight wrong turn. However, we got here. We are at the North Clan Den. Now, we are surrounded by hyenas. I can see 4 adults from here. There's 2 behind us, and there's cubs just bouncing all over the place. So I'm not going to lie to you, or I'm not going to pretend to cough or sneeze. I'm genuinely will be trying to get ID photos throughout this sighting. If you do hear the click of my camera, I'm not being rude. I just want to try and get some of these cubs while they're out. Now you can, hello. Are you going to come and say good morning like you did the last time? Now, if you're able to... Oh, yep, I think they are. They're so curious. I'm glad you're excited to see them because it took us long enough to find them. But it's worth it. Now, we have cubs of all age groups here. So if you see the little... Oh. Okay, perfect. See the 2 cubs that are coming out of the den? Yeah, there's lots of noisy. There's a bit of dominance dispute going on here. If you look at the 2 cubs that are popping out the hole, very different age groups here. We've got a very young one, probably about 1 or 2 months old, and then we've got a slightly older one at maybe 4 months old. Now these are obviously guests. Oh, we've got a lot of adults here as well. Wow, there's a whole clan here. So yes, all the cubs are completely different ages, and hear that? We've actually got a greeting ceremony going on in the background. I'm not sure if we'll be able to see it because it's behind the bush, but I don't want to move, and I don't want to... The noise is not my stomach, by the way, everyone. I am hungry, but that's not what the noise is, just in case you think that. The noise is the hyenas, and I think it's coming from that greeting ceremony that's happening in the background. I wonder if James can get us a little bit closer. It's not the most perfect view, but... They were both greeting each other in the lovely way that hyenas do by smelling and licking one another's genitals. So I believe that's where the noise was coming from. So it's not my stomach. Just wanted to clarify that. I don't want to move the vehicle because we're in the prime spot. I just want the hyenas to move around us. Oh. Paula's talking about the noises, and yes. it does actually sound very similar to my stomach, but it is the hyenas. They have such a vocal range of noises. My favourite is the squittering. I love that word as well, squittering. It just sounds so good, that the cubs make. But I also like the whoop. I don't want to do that too loud in case they actually think I'm a hyena, you know. I'm really good at it. They might actually think, whoa, there's a hyena in that vehicle. But they make all sorts of noises, from laughing, the famous giggling that the Lion King made them famous for, the sort of growling, the groaning, the squeaking. They're very, very vocal animals, and I think that's another reason. Look at this little one bouncing through the grass. Oh, it's coming up, coming closer. Hi. I just love the confidence they have at such a young age. For being such a small, tiny hyena, they're just so confident. They come right up to the vehicles as if to say, hello, who are you and what are you doing here? I think the longer we stay here, they will actually start coming up and sniffing the car. Now, the one that is right ahead of us at the den, there's so many, so I'm just going to direct to James. That's sort of lying down. That was a similar, I would say that was a very similar age and size to the one we saw this morning on the road. So it's not a cub, but it's still young. You can tell by its size and its coat. So I can't see any sign of Miss Waffles herself, but we are going to stay out here a little bit longer and try and get some IDs. Classy's asking, how can hyenas tell each other apart? Well, that is a really interesting question, because as humans, we highly rely on our eyes. Oh, coming again. Sorry, it's just too adorable. We recognize each other purely by eyesight. You know your friends, you know your family, you know your colleagues, just by looking at one another. But hyenas have got such a sensitive nose. They're such olfactory predators. They have great hearing and great eyesight as well, but they rely really heavily on their nose. So I think primarily to recognize one another, it would be by smell, believe it or not. Of course, they would probably recognize each other by eye as well. They do a lot of scientific studies on animals that can purely recognize one another by eyesight. But, I mean, even in fish, let's go back to the ocean, there's actually some species that have markings on the side of their face that we cannot see. You can only see it under ultraviolet light. If we were to shine an ultraviolet light on the fish, then we see, oh wow, they've got this huge maze of intricate markings on their face that we cannot see during the day. And this is actually how they recognize one another, because they can see that underwater and we can. I mean, that's just incredibly fascinating. So to us, we just think they all look the same. But they're able to individually recognize each other by this marking that they have, like a fingerprint that we cannot see. So many animals can recognize each other just by their markings also. But if an intruder, if another hyena that didn't belong to the North Clan was to come, female or male, they would be aware that it was not belonging to the clan, and there would be a fight. The females would chase that intruder away. Got very complex societies here. They're very maternal and they're very protective of their clan. I think there's more cubs inside. We might get a little call. Sometimes the mothers actually call the cubs to come out. There's no way that hyena could fit inside with a bottom like that. Or maybe she's just having a sniff around, but it's very common for the mothers to make a sound which draws the cubs to come out, particularly the young ones, to say, hey, it's safe, come out now. Oh, I think she's actually trying to get inside. It's not going to happen. Sorry, darling, you're a little bit too large for that hole. Now, when we were here the other day, I think we saw 7 cubs pop out of this den. So I really want to get an idea today exactly how many cubs are around. It's still a really nice temperature. It's still very much morning, and this is when I find the dens to be the most active. Oh, okay, Michael's given us some information which is fantastic. So the cub with the notch in her ear, I know exactly who you're talking, is Waffle's daughter, Grenadine. I hope I got that right. Grenadine, what a fantastic name.
There's a cub.
Oh, James is just telling me there's a cub. I'm too busy actually looking. Oh. Okay, so let's try and see if we can get the... I think we're going to suckle. I think it's suckle time here. So this was Mummy drawing the cub out of the den. Oh, we've not got the most perfect view. But you know what? I think they're becoming comfortable with us being here. The fact that she's going to suckle right in front of us. I'm going to make the choice not to move the car. Even though hyenas are generally quite comfortable around the car, I don't want to move it. So we'll just stick with this view. And it looks like this older cub is coming along to have a sniff. Now, hyena mothers do not allosuckle. Even although there's quite a tight society here, they do not suckle for one another's cubs. So, if this older cub here is having a little... It is, isn't it? Having a little lick. I'm surprised this mother is allowing that to happen. So just before we go, if we can just get a little zoom in this young one's genitals. I know it sounds slightly strange, but we should be able to see if it could be potentially a boy or a girl. If we just zoom in. Now, to me, that looks like female. The males have a glandular tip at the end, and it's quite obvious that it is a male. So I think from this one, it's female. Oh, goodness, we've got hyena action everywhere. I don't know how I'm going to keep up with all of this. So I have to send you to someone, but you know what? I can't even remember who it is now. I'm absorbed in the hyena madness. So I'm going to make it a surprise. Let's go back to South Africa and see what's going on.
Look at who we found. Well, I don't know when I say who. I don't know if it has a name, but it is a grasshopper nymph. And it is so beautiful. Look at that camouflage. That's not even a word. Oh well, I meant to say camouflage. Got too excited. It's one of the prettiest little grasshopper nymphs I've ever seen. Don't you think it's gorgeous? It's on James's favourite plant in the whole wide world, and it kind of looks a little bit like a Weltheria flower, don't you think? So perhaps that's what this little thing is feasting upon at the moment. But it is so small. I think it's going to jump. Should we just see, Senzo? Let me put my thumb again, since we've been using it the whole time. That is the tip of my thumb. You can see how tiny it was. So it's really small, very delicate, so it's going to be relying heavily on its camouflage. Otherwise, it will be eaten by something, by a bird. Birds love to eat these insects. Or maybe another insect could eat it too. So it'll take a little bit of time for it to turn into an adult. It's got to go through a couple of molts, and slowly but surely its wings will start to develop. But until then, they can still jump pretty well. And then there's something else here, and I don't really know what it is. So on the next leaf below, I think it's probably going to try and move. Let me see. Can you see that one? Yeah. I'm going to hold it like this for Senzo. Oh, just went to the toilet. Snap, personal drink, show me a Coke. Senzo now owes me a Coca-Cola, which I'm really excited about. That was quite cool. So that little insect, whatever it is, just defecated. It's probably going to fly into my face now. I'm not really sure what it is. It's also completely minute. So from where I'm standing, please excuse me, I can't really tell you what it is at all. Maybe it's a type of a leaf wilter, a small assassin of some sort. I'm not particularly sure. It does look like it's got a fairly long proboscis. Can you see its mouth part? So it looks like it's probing the flower. Not the flower, the leaf. Goodness. Ellie, well, there's a first time for everything. I bet you've seen many Ellies take a poop, but yes, it's very rare that you'll see a bug defecating like that. I don't even know what you call their fecal matter. Oh well. Anyways, this is quite cool, this little critter. I look forward to seeing your screenshots later so that I can have a better look. Please don't jump on my hand. I'm going to let go now, Senzo. Okay. Yeah, let go. That was nice. Lots of things. What else can we find? We've got a spider. Look, Senzo. You have to come this side, though. Okay. Come. Oh, I'm going to squash an insect at this rate. Okay, so Where did it go? There's a spider. Can you see the spider in here? And there's also a weevil of some sort moving around. Here's the spider, sorry. There's the spider. The weevil is terrified. That looks like our friend the hairy field spider, I think. I don't know. Something along those lines. It's very pretty though. Just sitting there, built its web. And well, it's got a good spot because we've already seen 3 different types of insects now just living on this one plant. So it has a fantastic chance of catching itself some dinner. Although a spider of this size, I think that grasshopper will probably break free. Its web is very, very fine. So maybe it's going after smaller things like, I don't know. And then there's just one other thing I want to show you. Sensor, can you zoom? I'm going to hold it steady into that corner. Are those eggs or is that feces? Can you see what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I can see, but I'm trying to find what it is.
I don't know what those are inside there, but they're kind of red. I'm trying to keep it as steady as possible. Really strange stuff.
It's looking like eggs.
Like eggs. It looks like it is held there with a bit of silk. So maybe it is, or it could be from a caterpillar. It could be caterpillar frass too. Okay. I'm a bit shaky because that is very small. Off you go back to the Mara, who has got, not the Mara because that's not a person, that's a place, but Lauren has got a little playful hyena cub.
This den is so active right now. I can't actually keep up with the cubs and get these photos. It's very tricky. Look at this very young one that just came out just now. Look how dark it is in colour. But do not mistake it, even though it's very young, it will be very naughty. These cubs are fearless, shall I say. And of course, hyena cubs are actually born with their eyes open. So they're very much pre-social, and their canines are fully erupted. So they're born with a full set of teeth. So they're very equipped for life. And this is why we see them so active and fearless. They've got boundless amounts of energy and they just love to play and annoy one another. And this is the age that you will start to see dominance appearing. This is a wonderful moment in the den. I do actually think we should share it with a wider audience. The cubs keep running and running around like a merry-go-round, going from one side of the den to the other. Good morning, everyone. We are currently here live in the Mara Triangle with the North Clan of hyenas and all their cubs. My name is Lauren and I have James on camera, and we've been sitting here for the past 10 minutes just watching this active den site and all the different things that are happening here. So the hyenas are running around and around the den, so they will come back, and there's cubs of all ages, from just a few months old to a couple of months old to even up to a year. So let's just hope that they run back round again. Oh, hello. Look at them, aren't they adorable? Now please do talk to us, send in your comments and questions. And let's just see what these cubs get up to. Now, the very young cubs, like you just saw, will actually not stroll too far from the den. They're too young for that. So there's adults all around, and they are keeping an eye on the little ones. So the cubs will run around, they will play, they will sort of get rid of all that energy and exercise, develop their muscles, but they will really not stroll much further than this from the den. Okay. I was going to move the car, but then I can keep seeing these little ears pop up from the middle of the den. Are they born with spots, Lisa? Fantastic question. Actually, they do have very, very faint spots, but they're predominantly born very, very dark. I was actually hoping to show you a very young cub, and they almost look, well, kind of black, dark brown. And as they get older, that colour tends to fade. Oh, like these ones. You can see they're very dark, but if we can get a closer look, you can actually see there is a very faint spot pattern. Now these two are battling it out and wrestling one another, practicing all their wrestling moves. And once they get older to about 3 months, you can fully see their full spot pattern. And a spot pattern on a hyena can be used to individually identify them. So you can actually see which hyena is which by using the spot pattern, which is fantastic for us. We get a great idea of how to learn about them, how to identify who is who. Now, hyenas live in very complex social structures, social dynamics. They live in clans. And this is, of course, the North clan, and they live together. So the females will inhabit this den and they will look after their cubs, which are inside this burrow. The females will come back in the morning. Oh, here we go. What have you got in your mouth? What a silly Billy. Now, hyenas actually suckle from their mothers for about between 18 months to 2 years. They have the richest milk in the animal kingdom, so the cubs can survive and thrive on this for up to 2 years. But like any young animal, they still want to try out their jaws and their teeth. So what this young one is doing here is obviously just biting and grabbing at the stick, and now they're all fighting over the stick. It must be a very, very good stick. So just similar to puppies and kittens, they just want to play. They just want to run around and actually have fun. Now, Gabriel's asking about, do all the hyenas have cubs at the one time? No, they don't. And you can actually see here that there's cubs. Oh, now this is a much older one, but still very young. Here you can see there's so many different ages of hyenas, literally from a 1 month old onwards and upwards to adults. There's a huge range here, so they don't have cubs at the one time, but hyenas are said to give birth to 2 cubs at the one time. So twins, if you like. Hyenas are said to mostly always give birth to twins. It's a very traumatic experience for the hyenas. It's not easy. It's very difficult to give birth. And unfortunately, the survival rate of both of the twins is not very high. So I'm going to explain why in just a second. There's something I would like to show you. So if I can just quickly show you this diagram here, it will just give you a better idea of exactly what I'm talking about. So here, you're able to see a female hyena's birth canal. There we go. You can see there is a 90-degree bend. Now, this is completely different to humans, and the cubs have got to come down from the womb and go through that 90-degree bend in order for the mother to give birth. So it's really not easy. It's not a high survival rate for these cubs. And unfortunately, the mother can actually also die during birth. So this moment we are having right here is very, very, very precious indeed. Let's see what these cubs are up to. Oh, one's having a little rest. Where's all the others gone? Now, they feel very safe around the den. It's a safe place. It's a safe zone. And this is why they're running about with such joy. There we go. Hello. Ellen's asking, do they always have to babysit the younger ones? That's a very interesting question. They wouldn't say babysit as in throughout the whole day. There doesn't have to be an adult here. But how it sort of works at a hyena den is the cubs throughout the bulk of the day will be inside the den, protected, resting, and out of reach of any potential predators. Unfortunately, the way it works out here is every predator's cub can be killed by another predator. So during the most active times for the den are the morning, like now, before the sun gets too hot, and in the evening around sunset. And that's when the adults will come back. They can potentially sometimes bring food. They will check on their cubs. They will suckle, depending on the ages. So there isn't always a babysitter, but the adults always do come back on a daily basis to check on the den. And during the night, the mothers will leave to go and hunt. So they will make sure that the cubs are safely in the den, which is no easy feat, by the way. Trying to get a little naughty cub to go to sleep is almost like trying to get a child to go to sleep. You can see the mothers are, oh, goodness, how am I going to get my little one to go back inside the den? And when they do, they stay safely protected in there throughout the night. Hyenas do most of their hunting at night, so the mothers do leave and go get food. Now this young one at the back here keeps trying to suckle. It must be hungry. But the mother's not very interested in that. So we are going to stay a little while longer at this den because it's so fantastic and it's so active. But thank you for everyone who jumped on board and watched us there. You can keep watching if you just type SafariLive into YouTube and continue to see what happens with the North Clan this morning. So thank you everyone for now. So for those that are still with us, wasn't that just so adorable? I could genuinely watch this all day long. I don't know why, it just never ever fails to bore me whatsoever. I just want to have so much fun with these hyenas. Now, rank inheritance is one thing that really interests me. As most of us know, there is a sort of dominant... Oh, hello. I thought that one was going to come a little bit closer. Getting the cubs to try and work out who is more dominant is such an interesting dynamic. So we're going to come back to that later. But for now, there's someone very special in Juma who would like to say hello.
Well, good morning, everyone. My name is Rusty. I've recently joined the crew on this morning's drive. For all of you who were alive online just before Christmas, I came to do an evening drive. Sadly, it was interrupted with a beautiful thunderstorm. It was one of the first rains that arrived in the area. The area has obviously flourished since then, and it's become a bit difficult to spot a few of the creatures around here. We are in search of lions this morning, or actually any of the cats would be quite helpful. We had a beautiful sighting with elephants earlier on, and we're going to just progress from here and hopefully pick up some tracks, or the actual individuals that make the tracks. You have seen this grass, the bush is really, really thick. It's extremely difficult. I would love to just jump out and just go lie in the grass to show you how difficult it can be for anything that's even just a few meters off this road. You can do that, yeah. And generally, the general census is obviously if a lion is lying a few meters off the road and doesn't get up or move, we will not see it. Sometimes it's just a flick of an ear, flick of a tail that gives it away. Generally with leopard, unless it's lying in the tree or on top of a termite mound like we do have on the right here, they will be very difficult to find. It's a flick of they've got this white tip of the tail that gives it away. So if we have the eye of the bush, I might be able to pick it up. Yeah, we'll see how it goes. It's been very, very cool this morning. One of the coolest days we have had. Thank you. Yeah, I'm very excited to be back here. It's been almost 48 hours since my last job that I left yesterday. I'm previously a horse safari guide for a company that's based just on the other side of the small town here called Hoedspruit. The company is called Little Horse Safaris, and I've been there for almost 8 years, guiding professionally from horseback in a very similar environment with a very similar wildlife. It's very different getting back into a vehicle again. I'm definitely going to let you know in the next few days how stiff I'm going to be from sitting in a position like this. We'll see how it goes. This is a bit new to me, and there's going to be a lot more interaction with wildlife, which I haven't had from horseback. Okay. Please, if you have any questions, let them flow. I'll try answer them as best as I can. Okay. There is actually in the horizon there. Weather might be changing shortly. There's a bit of a drizzle coming in. I'm not the biggest fan of being wet, but like I said, it's actually a nice cool morning, but as you can see, it's not as cold as the European or other countries right now in the middle of the winter. Okay. That's it. Okay, we are going to link over to Taylor shortly. We will let you know if we have anything in the next couple of minutes. Okay.
Well done, Rusty. Good job, good job, good job. Right, we're looking at something really bizarre, and I have absolutely no idea what it is. We're seeing really cool bugs today, but I think it's a type of weevil, just because those eyes are very weevil-like, and it's quite big. Okay, are we ready for the thumb? I'm going to have to measure my thumb. Don't run away, little creature. Don't bite me, either. I don't think it's going to bite me. Weird. Have absolutely no idea what this is, but it's quite large, and there were quite a few of them around on this quarry tree, which is fascinating. Really, really cool. Isn't that beautiful, though? I think it's got a proboscis like a weevil, too. But I'm stumped, so I'd appreciate your help. Ravinda, you said it's a ghost bug, but now I'm not sure if you're being serious or it's just because it's that sort of white color. But it is very, very white, but it's got the most beautiful pattern all over its body. Can you see that? It's so, so, so subtle. So that's quite cool. I mean, I'd appreciate all of your help. I'll have to steal somebody's book when I get back in camp. Well, not steal it. I'm just going to borrow it and try and figure out what it is. But I know a couple of you are quite quick on the keyboard, and if you can figure out what it is before, that'd be great. Connie Bay, I completely understand. I agree with you. Senzel's also chuckling. Everything does just look like a tick. Tick worm, tick beetle, tick weevil. I don't know. All of these kinds of things. So that's quite fascinating. I don't even know what to tell you about this because I've never seen this creature in my entire life. But it is rather beautiful. And I wish I had my camera here so that I could photograph it nicely because that's quite cool. I think I'm going to get more into macro photography. So I'm going to have to purchase myself a macro lens of sorts. Now, a lot of you are saying it's a type of, maybe a type of stink bug. I don't know. I don't know. Senzo, I'm going to try and turn it for you. Don't run away. I want you to show them. No, come back. The eyes. That's what's fascinating to me. I mean, it could be a kind of stink bug, but I'm not sure. It looks more weevil-like to me. Da-dum-tsh. Yes, X-Ranger, maybe this bug has been playing in some flour, which makes me think that it is some kind of a weevil. Perhaps the lions have been baking, who knows. But it's really, really, it's so cool. Sorry, Senzo, I know I'm moving it. Look at this incredible camera work. I've got the shakes, Senzo, I've got the shakes. Okay, I'm going to have to let go now. Be very gentle. Oh, sorry, I almost lost you. There was another one. Oh, here's another one. Look, 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 look. That's on a different view there. Can get it up against the stick. These things are really good models. So you can see they're all over this guarri tree. It's not quite an infestation. I think that'd be an exaggeration, which we all know I'm quite good at because as a guide you need to be able to exaggerate a fair amount. But I think, do you need some encouragement? I'll chase it towards you. Go that way. Go to Senzo. No. Go to Senzo. Yes, walk up. There we go. All the angles. That's super cool. So there we go. Hopefully, with all the screenshots that you'll be taking, we'll have different angles so that we can really get a correct ID on this. Like I said, I have absolutely no idea. I've never seen anything like it in my entire life, but it is rather beautiful. Look at it. Hello. It's very sweet. No, it isn't. I don't know why I said it's sweet. I haven't eaten it. I don't know what it tastes like. Probably sweet would not be one of those things. Lemmy said it's a lesser of two weevils. Potentially. I don't even know what that's supposed to mean. I'm so sorry. I'm not very sharp. I don't know how to understand jokes. Not even a little bit. Oh, lesser of two evils. Kirsten, you said weevils and you tried to trick me. Sorry, Kirsten. What else we got? Oh, we got something else. Come and check this thing out. This is not a cool bug. Oh, okay. I didn't get the joke. Soz, not soz. Come look here, Sensible. Where did it go? Where did it go? Where did it go? It was so cool. Oh, here it is. But I think it's going to be a... Ah, it did jump. Look. But it's going to jump, though. So we have to look at it from a bit of a distance. It's got crazy eyes. It's like a shark. Yes, Sensor's on it. Yeah, that thing. It's a pity we're so far away, but it's very nervous. I don't know if you want to try and go closer. I'm going to step back so I don't intimidate it. I apparently intimidate bugs. But that thing is a crazy-looking thing, and it also can leap like I've never seen an insect leap before. It's not a flea beetle. We know that they can jump pretty well, but look at the pointy nose. Woo! James Richard comes to the party again and saves the day. He said it is a bark I want it to be a weevil, but it's not. It's a bark shield bug. Very cool. Now you've got to do this. Yes. That's what James Richard is doing right now in front of his computer. Well, that's what I'm hoping that you're doing. So thank you very much for that identification. I now don't have to do any homework after breakfast. That's fantastic. I love it when that happens. Hang on. No. I thought there was going to be something else, but I don't know if it is really going to sit still, so that'll be for next time. Off you go back to Lauren. The hyena cubs are still playing about, and I bet Lauren probably wants to dive in there and play with them too.
So my ID mission is not going too well, I'm afraid. And that is because the cubs will not stay still. What I'm trying to do when you're taught how to... Look at them. Can you please stay still so I can get some ID shots of you? The best way to ID any animal is always to take a photo of the right profile and then the left profile. And then what you normally do, especially when you're underwater, is take a photo of your hands. So I have maybe like 1,000 photos of my hand. And the reason you do this is that you're separating each individual. So you try and get the left and the right one individual together. Listen to that. Oh, the audio here is just incredible. You can see she's very full of milk, so I think we might get to... Oh, picking it up by the neck, look at that. Okay, someone's been told to behave. I don't know if that worked, Mummy. It must be such a hard work, to be a hyena mother. So yes, my point was that the ID mission's not going very well. I keep getting one side and then they keep running away, but I'll get there. There we go, it's back again. Now, as we talk about play quite a lot, I've actually been reading up on play. Now, it might seem sort of obvious to some, but when we talk about animals playing, especially cubs of any kind, you know, hyenas or leopards and lions, any animals, really, when the young ones play, it's something that most people say, oh, they're doing this, you know, to build up their muscles and learn coordination and all sorts of different reasons why animals play. But actually, there's been lots of studies of late that prove that many of these animals are genuinely just doing it for fun. Now, fun is quite a human word that we use, but it's difficult when we sort of apply that to animals. And the reason play is such fun for young ones is because it drives them to do that through the evolution of pleasure. It's pleasurable, which means they want to play, they want to do it more, and in turn, that helps them develop into stronger adults. So there's sort of like an evolutionary drive for play. And in order to determine whether it's play or not is quite tricky, but I do actually have a definition for you that I'm going to read, because it's really, really interesting, and it allows us to see when an animal is actually doing something for a purpose or whether it is just genuinely having fun. So the definition kind of goes along the lines of, it's fun when it does not achieve any clear survival purpose, such as mating, feeding, or fighting. It is voluntary, spontaneous, and rewarding. It differs from typical functional behaviours, sexual, territorial, predatory, defensive, in the form of target or timing. It is repeated but not neurotic, so it's not like an animal banging its head off a wall, because that would not be fun. And it takes place only in the absence of stressors such as hunger, disease, crowding, or predation. So that's actually the official accepted universal definition of play. And once you sort of work your way through those different criteria, you can actually say, okay, this animal is just purely having fun. It's getting pleasure in what it's doing, and it's just enjoying. And I can honestly say, sitting right here at this moment, having gone through the criteria, these cubs are having nothing more than fun. They are just enjoying life at the den. Life could not be much better. They're using their teeth, their muscles, they're being very vocal, practicing out those vocal cords, sniffing, looking around, listening, stimulating all of their senses. And this is crucial to who they're going to grow up to be, basically. All these things are going to help them become a very strong adult hyena. More and more hyenas keep popping out. I've completely lost count. I'm not going to pretend that I actually know how many hyenas are here right now. Little Vixen is saying that she does feel that everything is a lesson for them. And yes, exactly. This is how they explore. You can see that little one biting a stick. This is how they learn, through the drive of just having fun. Now, I've seen some cubs have a lot of wrestling and tumbling and a lot of putting moves on each other. And again, that's practice for hunting and fighting and all the years that they have ahead of them. But while they're doing it, I personally believe that they are genuinely having fun. Now, I did have a discussion with James quite often about pleasure. You know, if an animal can feel pain, then it can definitely feel pleasure. And pleasure is here to sort of drive us to do the things that we like to do, which will help us to survive. So by them having fun... Oh, we've got some cubs off in the distance as well. I didn't see you guys there. Oh, we're surrounded by cubs. Yes, by the sort of drive for pleasure, to enjoy ourselves and having fun, drives all these other features to learn how to be a perfect hyena. That is my opinion, anyway. I just thought I would share the definition of play with you, because I just think it's so fascinating, and I was reading it the other day. Yeah, we've got a new little cub coming in from the right-hand side. I don't know where this one's been. Maybe exploring. Oh, I actually should have mentioned that. It completely slipped my mind. Do I think fish play? Well, 100% I do, and I can actually give you many examples of this. I'm actually reading a book, and this is where I'm getting all this from, called What Fish Knows, and it's a fantastic, one of the best books I've ever read, and it relates fish to the rest of the world so that we can relate to them a little bit more. And there's so much evidence of fish just playing. You know, this whole 3-second memory thing of the goldfish, it's completely been debunked, and it's not true. There's many examples of fish holding memories that last up to 5 years and longer. So fish do remember, they do feel emotion, they do feel pain, which I believe means they feel pleasure. So yes, I do believe fish play. It's just a little bit harder for us as humans to relate to them, because many people, I guess, would say they're not as cute. They don't really have sort of facial expressions like these hyenas do here. they're obviously not mammals, so it's just a little bit trickier to relate to them. And that's maybe why we sort of wrote it off that they don't play. I'd love to hear what you guys think, but I 100% do believe that fish play. I believe that any animal in any form plays. And it's an evolutionary drive within us all. What is this little one doing here hanging over the side? It's gonna fall. Oh, that was adorable. What are you up to? Well, you see what I mean? They're just rolling around, not a care in the world. They're just throwing themselves about. And actually, behind this bush, we're not able to see, there is a mother suckling one of the very young ones. Now, they do become a little bit more protective when they're suckling, because it's obviously, they become very relaxed and they're sort of lying down, and it's a very vulnerable position to be in. So that's why I don't really want to move the car, but there is suckling happening behind us. So again, I'm not going anywhere. It's far too adorable to leave. But for now, it looks like Taylor has something very small for you all.
I've no idea what has happened to the Sabi sand that has brought out all these weird and wonderful creatures. Here is something else that I have absolutely no idea what it is. How crazy is that thing? Hello? Where are you going? Come back. It's so terrified. Senzo, hang on, I'll flush it out. Where did it go? Yes, Kirsten, I know nothing, but we know this. Come. Come out. We want to see more of you. Is it even there? Yeah. It's very nervous. Don't bite. Yes. There we go. I have no idea what that is. I don't even... It's a bug. It's in the Hemiptera family. Genus. That's all I'm... oh, no. I'm done. I'm finished. I don't know what these creatures are. I'm just going to show you the bugs, and then maybe the trainees can play a game of let's identify all these weird and wonderful things that Taylor doesn't know. I have to sit with them because I don't know what the thing is. I don't even know what to categorize that in. Again, shall I go with a type of assassin bug? Maybe. Maybe it's an assassin bug. I have no idea, but it's very pretty. It's bright orange. It doesn't camouflage very well. I saw it from a mile away, and it's on the leaves. I don't know. SA, you said it's a shrimp ant. I have to Google what a shrimp ant is. I'm going to go ahead. Shrimp. And check what Google will say. Ant. Because I have cell phone reception, so that's nice. Shrimp ant. Shrimp ant, it comes up as a restaurant. One of the world's best restaurants, apparently. I've got lots of pictures of ants on shrimps. I can't find. And Kirsten says there's a movie called Ants on a Shrimp as well. So, yeah, I can't find a shrimp ant, but that is pretty much a description of what it basically looks like. Very weird. And off it goes again. So please take screenshots of this. This is fantastic. Randall says I should Google tiger shrimp ant. Tiger shrimp ant. Let's see what you say. Tiger shrimp ant. Can you still see it? No, guys. You talk nonsense. This is nothing. I'm wasting my data for no reason here. Tiger shrimp ant. Kirsten says I should Google gullible. How do you spell that? Never mind. You guys are really mean to me. Very mean. I'm not going to come on Safari anymore. I think I'm done. I'm just going to crawl into bed now. Very cool, eh, Senzo? Great camera work again. Feel free to send all the praises because Senzo is doing a sterling job as he normally does. What else have we got lurking on this bush, Senzo? I'm going to see what else we can find here. What other bug that I've never seen before in my entire life? Oh, I saw a really cute jumping spider earlier and it looked up at me. It was so sweet. Let's see if I can find another one of those because I love them. I played with lots of jumping spiders in Sri Lanka. They've also got some really cool ones. It is cool, eh, Senzo? It's like an alien. It looks really weird. It looks like it should be out of some sci-fi kind of movie. Like, what is that? Is it Battleship? Starship Troopers. Who's watched Starship Troopers? That's a classic. That movie used to terrify me when I was younger, but I couldn't stop watching it. And this insect looks like I should probably be in there. Senzo, I cannot find any more insects, which is a problem. Where are they? So this is literally what you have to do when you find an insect. Sometimes like that orange bug, it just kind of stands out. Oh, what bit me? Something bit me, and that's really rude. Okay, I'm going to keep looking for all sorts of other things out here. Off we go back to Rusty, who's got a lilac-breasted roller, and I bet it's perched.
Well, for those who have been online for the last couple of years, you might know who this individual is. For those who are new online, this is the lilac-breasted roller. It's a resident bird that hangs around this area for most of the year. But it couldn't have actually been better perched right next to the road for us. Those colours are beautiful. It is one of your iconic birds of the plains around here. They are actually one of the most photographed birds in Southern Africa. I think anyone who has a camera and who does travel around here gets at least, or tries to at least get a few hundred pics of these birds. He did have a mate here. They do pair mate for life, and they are very territorial. Hence the name roller. Sorry, I didn't quite catch the name. Grommet. Grommet, sorry. The question, what is my favorite bird? You look at how many birds we have in this area, but for the most favorite one, I will say the Varroa eagle, or what we used to call the black eagle. It's mostly around the rocky outcrops or the mountains along the escarpment here on the Drakensberg mountain range. They are one of the largest eagles, and they're black with a white V on their back. Where I grew up in Zimbabwe, we had them breeding on one of the rocky outcrops in our area, and we had a local guy come and do research on them, because the chicks that they do the Cain and Abel scenario, where one chick hatches before the other, and if it grows bigger, it'll kill the new chick that hatches. So because these birds of prey are protected, they end up removing one of the chicks and allowing the one chick to grow up on its own and to hand raise the other one and swap them over. I got slightly distracted by the black eagle, but the lilac-breasted roller has flown off. I'm sure in the next few moments if we drive around for the next hour or so, we will pick up another one. Okay, we will keep moving on. We still haven't found any tracks or sign of any of the cats, but who knows? Luck is luck in the bush here. It's a great game of patience here. Okay. Well. Okay. Well, I must admit, the seat is feeling very comfortable. Oh, okay. So far, all we've got on the road, all we have is tracks of impala and elephants going every which direction. I will let you know if we find anything fresh of any of the cats. Because I believe we had rain yesterday morning, so most of the roads are still quite damp. Sorry, you got cut off there. Sorry.
Claire wants to know about how horses react.
Hi, Claire. Yeah, the question, I believe, sorry, it broke up halfway through. Do the horses react to the smell of lions or to lions? It's, the smell of lions. The answer, yes. Yes, they do. Horses, obviously, with most animals, have got a very keen sense of smell. And lions actually do give off a very pungent smell of fear to a lot of the animals. Although we cannot smell it because we've lost that predatory smell, horses pick it up very quickly, and obviously they will often let you know when someone around. So we'll just be walking like in a thick bush like this, where I come from was exactly the same. We'll be walking along the road, and all of a sudden the horse stops dead. You'll just all of a sudden feel the heartbeat of the horse between your legs. You'll feel against the girth, and then all of a sudden his nostrils will start flaring. And there's a guarantee, if you look down, you'll find either lion tracks or urine, either lion either marked as territory, or they're actually very close. Sometimes 3 to 4 meters away from the horses, just lying in wait. Most of the time, having good horses, we do not allow them to react to the lions. Yes, it's their natural instinct to flee, but having a rider, a very good rider on them, they tend to stay put. So obviously with a lot of leg on and a lot of encouragement. So it's not easy to force a prey animal to go after a prey animal to go after a predator animal, to push it away. But after even a few months, up to a year of training, the horses tend to do it. Okay. Yeah, it's very exciting. I'm not going to lie. It's very intense when it comes up to a situation like that. Obviously, we do not allow any harm to come to the horses or the clients, mainly the clients. Let's put that into brackets. Clients come first, horses second. So, yeah, I will be, obviously, in the next couple of months, if this goes well for me here, I will be doing the odd safari back on horses on my weeks off, just to carry on with that. The horses are basically my other legs. I've been running them for 8 years, pretty much every day. So I will get back on it. But now I'll have to track them by vehicle and by line of sight or tracks on the road. Hopefully in the next few days I get to do it on foot, which I haven't done lions on foot in a while. Okay, we are heading back over to Lauren with the hyenas. Okay. I will let you know shortly if we have any cats.
We are still indeed with the hyenas, and it keeps going quiet and then it keeps bouncing alive again. There's a lot of suckling happening and a lot of resting, and we did have confirmation from Michael, thank you Michael, that this one sleeping at the entrance to the den, if we can just get a little view, is in fact grenadine, so it's correct. And there is a notch in the left ear. One don't know what happened there, but there is a sort of little, no, in the right ear, no, the left ear. Oh, I'm terrible at left and right. Yes, left ear. There is a notch, which is obviously going to be an identification feature when grenadine gets a bit older. Now, I did mention the other day that as the hyenas grow, it's not proven whether the spot pattern will stay the same or not. So that's something that I'm really interested in. We can actually obviously not scientifically prove it, but if we're able to just get sort of photos as they are now and monitor this over the years, we'll be able to see if the spot pattern stayed the same or not. But the notch in the ear, of course, definitely will stay the same. So we'll be able to always use left, right, left, yes, the notch in the left ear to identify grenadine. So it's just something that interests me. Well, does the spot pattern stay the same? Does it? We don't know. Even with turtles, it's not proven if the scales on the side of the face here, which is what you use to identify a sea turtle, does it stay the same from a juvenile hatchling to an adult? We don't know. So I just find that really, really interesting. I think we do need an answer to that to know whether it will change or not. So grenadine's obviously having a great nap. It must be nice and cool inside that sort of burrow. It's obviously shaded. The sun's not hit it yet. The ground will be colder. Oh, it looks lovely being nestled in there. All the other cubs are just behind in the bush. And I'm torn whether to go and have a look or not. I don't want to disturb anything. I'm a big believer in let the animals be. Well, here we go. Have you finished having your milk? It looks like they have. Vanessa's asking, how deep do I reckon this den is? You know, that's a really interesting question. I'm not actually sure. To hold all the cubs that it is holding, it must be a lot deeper than it looks. I can see 2 main entrance holes. It's obviously where the cubs go in. And just the fact that it can actually hold them all of different sizes. I've seen cubs of all different sizes come out of this den. It must be much deeper than it looks. Or maybe not even that deep, maybe just wide. I'm genuinely not sure. I'd love to be able to take a peek inside. Now, I definitely could not fit inside that hole for sure. But somehow I would love to get a look inside and know exactly what it's like. Maybe it's like a little house, Vanis, and maybe there's like a living room and a kitchen. Definitely not a bathroom, because we see them do the toilet out here. But maybe there's a little storage cupboard, a TV room. You know, exactly how you would design a house under there. I wonder if that would be possible to ever get inside a burrow and have a look without disturbing the animals. But they choose their dance very, very carefully. We can see a little cub here chewing on some branches, I think. Is that what you're doing? They love to chew branches, just like puppies. If you've ever had a puppy, they just love to chew. They love to practice using their jaws. And it's not safe for cubs to eat meat at a very young age, especially the sort of meat that hyenas eat. It's very putrid and can't even begin to think what that meat would be like. So it's not really safe, which is why they do stick to the milk. But of course, they still need to exercise the jaws, build up the jaw muscles, and strengthen all their bite. They need to strengthen that. And of course, they have got teeth, fully erupted teeth. So just like sort of babies need to gnaw on things when they are teething, hyenas will be the exact same. Hence why they choose to gnaw on sticks constantly. I'm still torn whether to move the vehicle or not. I feel that it became very, very adjusted to us being here. They're really not bothering that we've been here for quite some time now. Yeah. Okay, let's see if we can just get a look at this one's genitals. This is a different one from before. When they get excited, they do tend to... Man, this is no easy feat. But this is actually how we were able to identify Plonk as a boy when it was very young. Can you stay still, please? Oh, this one looks like potentially a boy, I think. If the penis or the pseudopenis, depending on which sex it is, has a triangular tip at the end, that's the only identification feature at this stage that you can use to know it's actually a boy. And it is possibly too young to make a definite decision at this stage. It's not an easy feat working out which sex a hyena is. When they get older, the females are much bigger, much, much bigger. But still, in terms of their genitals, as we all know, it's not easy. The females also have a pseudopenis. And although this makes a few people chuckle and also makes some people say, what? What are you talking about, a pseudopenis? However, it's actually such a great adaptation for the females because it means no matter what happens, obviously the females are more dominant in hyenas, they can never be sexually coerced. Now, in the animal kingdom, unfortunately, there's a lot of examples where males will put sexual coercion upon the females, so it leaves them with no choice. And it obviously puts them in a little bit of a vulnerable position, whereas hyenas have came up with the perfect method to avoid that. They've developed a pseudopenis, which makes it very difficult for the males to mate. So it's all on the female's terms. She decides when and where, which I just think is fabulous. As for animals like, say, the hippo, females have very little choice. It's not very nice. The males do sexually coerce her, sometimes hurt her, and there actually has been cases of males drowning females during mating because they push her under the water and force their body weight on her that sometimes the female's not able to come up for air. So that's not such a nice example, but these hyenas here have got it completely sorted, and the way they are designed completely means that they can't be sexually coerced by the males. Isn't that right, guys? The weird and wonderful lives of the hyenas. I'm sure at one point in history, maybe everybody just thought they were all males. Maybe they thought there was no such thing as a female hyena. No, I'm joking. But it must have been very confusing when we first started to study these animals to see that they all had penis-looking organs. Oh. There was a squitter there. I hope you all heard that. Oh, Faith is asking me one of the most difficult questions. Which is my favourite hyena clan? Oh, Faith, you've put me in such a tricky position. Now, obviously, as you know, I'm just diving back into the North clan. Jamie did such fantastic work out here and somehow managed to put her influence upon me. And I'm going to dive into this clan as much as I can. The more time we spend with them, the more we can learn. But my heart lies with Corky. And I think that's just because I've seen her go through so much. I've seen her strength as a matriarch. I think she's very strong. I've spent so much time with that clan. And I obviously did watch, along with many of us, that attack from the Avoca male, which lives down in history. That was traumatizing for all of us. Our hearts were in our mouth. And I think just to go through with that with an animal and see her bounce back and come right back to the cub as soon as she could to be a mother, I don't know. I guess I have great admiration from her. But, oh, what a tough question, Faith. Did I even answer it? Did I even choose? I think I just balanced out nicely there. So it looks like Miss Taylor in South Africa has my favourite animal ever. So let's go and check it out.
A spider? Lauren, really? Is your favourite animal a spider? That's pretty impressive. We have a hairy field spider, and it made a kill. We had the fly desperately trying to escape the spider's web, and then out of nowhere it ran and grabbed the fly. It was pretty cool because it was almost instantaneous, hey Senzo? How it grabbed it, bit it, and in one swift move it wrapped it up in silk. Well, I suppose just enough silk so that it couldn't move around anymore, and then moved it to the middle of the web, where it has now sunk its fangs into the unsuspecting prey, and is going to wait for it to die, wait for the venom to do its job. Senzo, you need to stretch your legs. Senzo's going to stretch his legs. We literally go the other side so we can see the other side of the spider. We have to just do a wide berth so we don't break the web, because that grass is also attached. So Senzo's going to go the other side now so we can see maybe a side angle to see what the spider looks like. But that was really cool to see. It's quite humid today, so it's actually turning out to be a fantastic morning for all sorts of critters, and we've seen a whole lot of them. I think this must be some kind of record with the amount of bugs and beetles and arachnids and all sorts of crazy things that we've seen today. That's so cool. So now you can see the other side of the spider. And it's made it on a really good spot, except if a vehicle drives through here, it might find itself attached to the vehicle. That is awesome. So that you can see the little black thing is the fly, in case you've just joined us now. Wonderful. That's nice. Now, I know a lot of you don't like spiders, but I think they can be quite fascinating. That's not one I'd be wanting to pick up. I only catch the jumping spiders because they're so precious. And you've all seen Lucas, the spider. How could you not love Lucas with those big eyes? That's such a great cartoon description of a jumping spider. There we go. Lynn, you've just confirmed it. You said you just can't warm up to spiders. That's all right. That's why we show you them on camera. They're just really fascinating, super interesting creatures. That's why I like them. Last night there was some weird spider running across the table. Maybe Rusty can tell you about it. I swiftly stepped away from the table. It ran over Marcel's arm. I was just like, not having any of that. What else have we got? I'm tired now. I'm exhausted. We've walked so far, hey Senzo? Look, literally, my legs are heavy and I just want to drag them. And then I've got to go for a run after breakfast and I don't really want to. Kirsten is cancelling the show. She's queuing the credits. We can all go home because I'm tired. Can you imagine? That would not go down very well with Mr. Henry. He'd not be impressed with me. Okay, what else can we see? There's just things everywhere at the moment. Oh, come look at this one. It's another spider. Ah, I got my hat. It was just a joke, guys. Look there, it goes. It's so fast. Stop going so quickly. Yes, now you cannot go anywhere. I don't know what this is. Should I be brave, Senzo? No, go back! Doesn't like my hand. Ah, stop dropping silk. It's wasting. It's not just look, it's doing the same thing over and over. It's not a very clever spider. Oh my gosh, a hand. Oh, let me climb up this. Oh no. Looks like a little bark spider. So please don't bite me, please don't bite me, please don't bite me, please don't bite me. I'm being brave right now. There we go. It's back. It's terrified. It's so camera shy. Yes, eat your web. So there it is. The little spider. It's absolutely terrified. It doesn't like people. It doesn't like cameras. But off we go again to Lauren, who's petrified of spiders apparently. And I don't think she'd be doing what I just was.
Oh, spiders, 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 don't I just love them? I have to say I'm not envious or jealous of Taylor at the moment, because I am with my real favourite animals. It's definitely not spiders, just in case any of you didn't get my sarcasm earlier. I don't think there will ever be a Safari Live drive where I really talk about spiders that much. Although I was quite brave recently and I did get close to a web, so I'm getting somewhere, I guess. Now, it has gone a little bit quiet, so let's just relocate. Stay with me and let's see if we can get round this side. Really hope that I don't scare any. Oh, I can just see one in the bush here. I'm just going to turn on the engine. I just let it run for a little while just so they become used to the noise and they know there's going to be movement. If you turn on your engine and you drive straight away, that's what scares them. So, okay. I'm just going to move really slowly. I know it sounds a bit silly, but I really am not a fan of disturbing animals. But they are all in the bush, which is why we can't see them. Oh, they're all really resting. Here we go. Here's Mummy who's suckling. How's that for you, James? Good? Good. Okay, look at that. Now, this is so precious. We have Mother Hyena in the middle of her suckling her young. And actually, the last time we came here, this is where the mother was suckling as well. I think this is sort of the perfect position to be covered in between these two bushes, if you like. Oh, isn't that adorable? A cute little cub getting its fill of milk to grow bigger and stronger. Now, as I mentioned earlier, hyena mothers very often have two cubs at the one time if the birth has been completely successful. And these cubs will ultimately compete. And there's been so much research going into it. So there's a lot of people that think if the mother gives birth to two females, one of the female cubs will ultimately kill the other. Now, I don't think this is necessarily true. Not in that way. One cub might die, and that would purely just be from possibly the likes of starvation or just not getting enough access to milk, because these little cubs can be bullies. So it's not as thought that the female cub would kill another cub. But you also get two female cubs that survive and thrive and make it to adulthood. But there just is a lot of competition. Now, if the mother has one male and one female, then you see a difference, and generally the female will always be dominant, and you can see it. You can really, really see it. But another factor comes into play, and this is where it gets very complicated. If they are the cubs of the matriarch, then both male and female would have sort of inherited the dominance rank from the mother, even the males. So the males are I can't talk right now. Let me start that again. The males are thought to be very, very low ranking and right at the bottom of the pile, which I guess they are in general, but not always if you are the matriarch's son. And Plonk from the Juma clan is a perfect example of that. He's a male, we've gathered that, and he's the cub of Corky, but he still shows some dominance because he's inherited it from his mother. But of course, he wouldn't be as dominant if there was also a female cub. So it's very interesting, and it's very difficult to sort of get your head around the hyena dynamics. But there was a recent study done on the rank inheritance in hyenas. Was it genetic? Is it that the mother passes down the genes and that's how they sort of inherit their dominance? Or is it in hormones? Is it from prenatal environmental exposure of the offspring to hormones? Or is it behaviour? So is it the postnatal behaviour of the mother supporting the cub which makes them dominant? So there was a study that sort of looked at it in that way, and this study highlighted that the rank is actually acquired in adopted offspring. If a mother will be a surrogate and adopt offspring, which is not hers, now this is a study, remember, that offspring will show the same rank as the mother. So this must mean that it happens post-birth. So it's not something that develops in the womb, it's not genetics, it's not hormonal, so it comes after birth, which I think is really fascinating. So Megan's actually asking, do hyenas have friendships within the clan? And yes, they do. They absolutely do. Obviously, it's a clan that they live together. And again, another study, I read a lot of studies, actually showed that friendship's really important to hyenas. So even within a clan, a large clan we're talking about, like the North clan, adult hyenas will show preference to other females over others. So just like humans, we've got Facebook friends, haven't we, which isn't very real, but we've also got real friends. We've got people that we kind of like and then people that we maybe don't like so much and just pretend to like. Let's face it, that's the reality of human beings. It's very similar. Hyenas will show preference to other females that they genuinely like, and then they will sort of put up with other females that they maybe necessarily aren't as close with. Fantastic study. And I guess, obviously I'm still learning the dynamics of the North clan, but let's use Pretty and Corky as an example. Corky is obviously the matriarch, but they seem very close. They seem to have quite an alliance between them. I guess we could almost push that to friendship. Again, friendship's a very human word, isn't it? But I personally believe, yes, Megan, within the clan, hyenas do have friendships with one another. And maybe there's all sorts of dynamics that we're not aware of yet. Sometimes we like to think that we know everything and we understand everything about animals. But I'm a big believer that there's still a lot to learn. And that's why we spend these hours per day out here trying to get as much information as we can. Puma's asking a very interesting question that I'm actually not sure about. He's asking, are the dynamics of hyenas in a small clan different from that in a large clan? Now, fundamentally, I would personally say no. So I think the organizational structure would be the same no matter which clan. But in terms of individual dynamics between hyenas, I guess it would be a little bit more complex in a larger clan. And that sort of builds on Megan's question, asking about friendship. So there will be sort of different dynamics between individuals, alliances, closeness. Maybe some hyenas just don't like each other. They just don't, they're part of the same clan, but they just don't like each other. So having a bigger clan will mean more individuals, which will mean more complexities. So, in answer to your question, I do think fundamentally the sort of structure, the social structure will be the same. But yes, it would probably be a lot more complex and a lot more difficult to figure out in a larger clan. Now, the North clan is much larger than the Juma clan. What a great question. Keep sending in your questions. I'm enjoying it because it helps me think and talk things through as well. They're not the easiest animal to get your head around. I remember when I very first learned about hyenas, I was absolutely blown away by how complex they are. So I'm hoping we get more questions while we stay here and enjoy this precious moment. But for now, let's go across to Rusty in South Africa.
Okay, we're still in pursuit of cats in this area. We still haven't had no luck, not even one track, not one bit of hair. So we're heading down to one of the watering holes here to see if there's actually any sign of them lying around here. Child of the universe, we have the question being, well, how do horses react to buffalo? Buffalo are very hard to approach because they don't have a lot of warning signs when it comes to behavior patterns with horses. Although I do treat them with a lot of respect, I do give them a wide berth, but sometimes curiosity gets the better of them. So they do come out of curiosity, come very close to the horses, but if it's in a herd structure, you'll find like it just takes a one to snort and run and they all just charge off. Where I was based with the horses, we didn't have a lot of buffalo because we're outside of the belt where we have disease-free buffalo. So we only have a small breeding herd and a couple of bulls that stay on the reserve, and they have been habituated with people pretty much since they've been born. So with horses, they had no disinterest or interest in us. If anything, they actually ruled the reserve. Even the lions were chased up trees by them. Yeah, when it does come to approaching the buffalo, we just keep it in a wide berth, watching from a distance. And if they do come a bit close, we just move off very quietly and just keep looking over our shoulders. Okay. But we're actually just discussing with James in the back here how I haven't seen any sign of buffalo, and this area is actually renowned to have quite a few herds pass through. But since the drought we had a few years ago, a severe drought, a lot of the buffalo, we got up to the figure of 25% of the population of buffalo in the Greater Kruger died from the drought. So now, since then they've had very little movement of buffalo in the area. These are the greatest characters that we have on the reserve. They do not need any introduction. They are the warthogs, and we've lost one, two. I think out there we have a head. This goes to show how thick the bush is getting. The grass is growing rapidly, and the warthogs just disappear like that. And we've lost it again. So, yeah. Oh, he's back out. Those are the tips of the tails pointing out. It is a follow me sign in such a thick bush as you see now. With the tails going up, they can kind of like see the next person, see the one running in front of them. And your impala. Had a few, was a bit curious with the warthogs, but that's past. Okay. He's not very interested. There's actually, it's two males. Some of the impala actually never actually get to take over a herd. If they don't fulfill their full dominance, they don't take over the herd. They generally just stay in bachelor herds. 2 is actually a very small number. Sometimes they get up to 50 individual males. Luckily, if one becomes mature enough and you'll challenge off one of the other males from another herd, then he gets to take over. But it's very unlikely that one male will control the whole herd for an entire season. So you'll see it's actually very good for genetic purposes, so you don't get any father-daughter problems. And it's not, I've got a blank at the moment when the rutting season comes up. But it's actually one of the few sounds how these beautiful antelopes make the most horrendous sounds in the bush. We have clients wake up in the morning with dark rings on their eyes, and they're like, "Did you hear those lions?" I'm like, you go there and it's just tracks of impala around the tent. It's a very harsh grunting sounds. If anyone knows the deer rutting sounds that they make, it's very close to that. For such a beautiful antelope, they have the most harshest voices when it comes to the rutting sound. They also become quite, I wouldn't say dumb, they become very, what's the right word am I looking for? Distracted when they are rutting, because they end up fighting with each other to a point that you can actually, I've had them run into the vehicle before, because they just switch off and just end up using all their testosterone up to fighting with each other. So it becomes really, really fascinating to watch. And you do actually end up like maneuvering around to see how close you can get. But yeah, sometimes they do, look, those horns, as you can see, cause a lot of damage. Can cause a lot of damage when they fight. And there is always one outcome where there always is one loser and there is always one winner when it comes to the animal kingdom. The healthier, stronger, fitter you are, the more girls you get. Generally. In the animal kingdom. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, we got the woodlands kingfishers behind, calling. Hi, Jason. Your question, are antelopes dangerous while on horseback? Not necessarily. There's animals that will... No, actually no. They don't... Most of the animals are pretty nervous of the horses. We're very... Although we are an animal ourselves, we are very noisy. The horses we have were shod with metal shoes because we've got very hard ground where we are. So we are a very noisy, abnormal behaving animal coming through the bush. So a lot of the animals give us a lot of space. The animals that hang around camp are very habituated with the horses. And actually, we can just ride through the middle of an impala and they don't mind us. Most of the bigger antelopes they'll watch us at a distance, but as soon as we try approach them, they'll move off. So no, they are not dangerous to the horses, but obviously if you find one that's very wounded, you never know what its reaction is going to be. So we will rather, if we do find a wounded one, we just rather move out of its way, because it'll take on anything triple its size, doesn't matter how dangerous it is, just to try to protect itself, because there's nothing else for it to lose. So the answer to that question is no. I have never been charged by anything that I've said that. Where I was working before, we did have dogs, and on some of the short rides we took the dogs along. And if the dogs are seen as predators, and we've had a few charges from zebra, wildebeest, and giraffe from chasing the dogs, and of course the dogs run back to the horses and it gets a bit chaotic. But otherwise, no. With regards to the antelopes, no. No, they are pretty happy with the horses, to the extent that they can be nervous if we get too close, as the same with the vehicle. Okay, we're gonna go over to Taylor to see what else she's found on the bushwalk.
Yes, you are. You're back with me, the girl who knows nothing about the bugs today. Did you see it? Senzo can't see it. I have to show you now. There. That thing. Can I move my hand now? Look at that thing on the plant. Looks like a bit of bird poop, doesn't it? Well, it isn't. It is a moth that is disguised as a piece of bird poop so that it will not be eaten. Very, very clever camouflage. I wouldn't want to eat that at all. They're funny little things, and I've seen quite a few of them around today as well, which is awesome. But I don't really know what else to tell you. Is that the camouflage of these creatures is pretty amazing. You know, you've got different types of cryptic coloration, and I just find it fascinating that this insect was like, what could I possibly do to be a deterrent, or not a deterrent, that no one would want to eat me? Yep, poop. No one wants that, unless you're a dung beetle, but I don't really think dung beetles go after bird poop very often. I've never seen a ball of bird poop being rolled around by a dung beetle. Be colourful, though. but they don't seem to really do that. But that's quite cool, very interesting to see. They're very small. It's also quite windy, so it's very difficult for Senzo to keep it in frame. The wind is picking up now. Awesome. Wonderful. That's all I have to say about that. What else? What else do we got? I'm hungry now. I don't know what's for breakfast, but I'm going to have something for breakfast. Oh, I forgot to take this off my head. I completely forgot I had my jersey on my head. Oh, goodness. It was getting hot, so I just put it up there, and then I forgot. Now Look, Mildred! Hello! This is the fastest millipede I've ever seen in my entire life. Look how quick it's running. Go, go, go. It's leaving a big train behind in the sand as well. It's a nice, actually a really nice track, which is awesome. I now want to touch it though, because I've not picked up a Mildred for a long time, but sometimes when they're frightened, you know that they will defecate that horrible brown smelly stuff that has got small quantities of cyanide in it, so I don't really want that smell on my hands, especially before I have to have breakfast, and then I might have the same situation like yesterday where I couldn't get the elephant dung smell off of my hands. That's so cool. I'm going to go into the camera. No? What's this? No? Okay, we go around. I'll bury myself. Nice sense. Very cool. Bye, millipede. Bye, Senzo. I'm leaving Senzo behind now. What else are we going to find? Let's check here. I don't know why I made a mongoose sound. There's no mongoose. There is a butterfly, but I can see lots of caterpillar frass here. I can see the dung. Where are you, caterpillar? Catherine, yes, we need to start guesses as to what we can have for breakfast, but the only problem is that Amanda is on holiday, and Lotus, not Catherine, I made that up, I meant to say Lauren. My apologies. You know, those two names are very similar. So I haven't quite worked out what Lotus likes to make just yet, so it's going to be difficult. What do I feel like, though? I could be healthy today. I could totally have fruit and yogurt with nice granola and some honey. But I probably won't, because I'm going to go for a run. So then I'm going to talk myself into the fact that I need to have fuel. No, whatever. There's nothing on this tree. There's just poop. That's really about it. So that's fun. We'll move away from that one very quickly. What else? What else have we got? Okay, apparently I'm not entertaining enough for you in this segment, so that's fine. Luckily, I'm tough and my feelings don't get hurt. So off you go, back to Lauren or Catherine, Mara, who's not leaving that hyena den.
Yes, so I am just relocating again. These naughty hyenas just keep moving. Yes, you do. Are you avoiding me or something? I'm starting to feel like they're avoiding me. Now, the cubs have all sort of disappeared from our view. Some of them have gone inside and some of them are just nestled well into those boots. Oh, come on, girl. Am I really that bad? She's like, yes, you are. You've been talking about us all morning. Well, it's all good things, you know. I don't think I've said anything bad about you guys. Oh, I think there's a little one there. Let's try and go round again. John's asking a very, very interesting question. Very happy to hear this, John. What happens to a hyena cub if its mother dies? Now, I think this would be best to describe in relation to age, because if it's a very, very young cub, like the dark little cubs we have here, they're very young. As I mentioned, hyena mothers do not allosuckle, so there's no way that a very young hyena has much high chance of surviving. She's not impressed to see us again. Surviving without the mother. So the young cubs would be very much in trouble if their mother did die, whereas the slightly older cubs... I'm just going to position. Oh, hi guys, we're back again. We did the full circle, 360 degrees. Whereas the slightly older cubs would be much stronger, much more developed, and they would have built up a lot of nutrition already from the milk, they could probably survive. Now, a hyena's jaws don't really spring properly into action till about 2 years. So that's normally between the 18-month mark and the 2-year mark is when they will start experimenting with meat, and the mothers will bring food back to the den. Now, prior to this age, they're really not eating meat. They're heavily relying on milk. James has managed to spot a little cub right in there. So yeah, it's a great question, John. Death of the mother would definitely upset the dynamics and the balance of the clan, but just due to the fact that they don't allosuckle, that would be the problem. Whereas in the lion pride, for example, the mothers do all suckle for one another's cubs. So if a lion mother was to die, then the cubs would be able to survive. But it's slightly different for hyenas. And going back to the Corky example again, that's why we were all so worried. Because if Corky was really injured, or I hate to say it, had died from that Avoca attack, then it would have been a huge problem for Plonk. And I personally don't believe Plonk would have survived. So obviously Corky did come back. She bounced back, and Plonk is still thriving down there. And I haven't seen him in months. So it really would depend on the age of the cubs. Like this one here is much older. You can see it's much, much bigger in comparison to those little very, very small dark ones. It's got a completely different coating. It's got a spot pattern. It's got quite well developed muscles right on the back there. So there's a high chance, or a much higher chance, a hyena of that age would survive in comparison to the younger ones. Yeah, I think they're fed up of us. They keep evading us. So, oh, no. Here we go again. And an update on my ID mission. I failed terribly. Comas is asking, could a hyena survive eating bugs? I don't think so. I do not think that would provide enough nutrition for a hyena. Now, they may try bugs, especially when they're younger, and they maybe encounter a beetle scuttling along the ground in front of them. I, without a doubt, think the cubs would try. They would eat it and think, oh, what is this? They probably would spit it back out and go, ugh, no, thank you. But they could not survive on eating bugs. They could maybe supplement, but definitely not survive. It wouldn't be enough for the nutritional requirements of a hyena. Now, I wish we could get a little one last look at the cubs for you, because my ID mission completely failed. I brought my camera, I was so ready for it, and it just did not happen, I'm afraid. Because they're just too naughty and they won't stop running around. But I do feel they've exhausted themselves a little bit here, the cubs. And the very young ones are now tired. So they've had some milk, and it's now time for a little rest. So I imagine very soon they will go back into the den and rest for the rest of the day. But it's been a fabulous morning with this clan. I have thoroughly enjoyed it, and I hope you have as well. But for now, let's go back down to Rusty, who I believe has found some tracks.
Well, we have some good news and some slightly bad news. We finally, my expert tracking skills, actually it was James who spotted it from the back, we found a lioness track. Now, she is heading in this direction, and it's from almost like early hours of this morning to about midnight. We're not too sure when she came through, but just judging by what's on top, this is one of her tracks. I don't know if you can see it. I'm just circling around it. We've had a bit of drizzle early hours of this morning, and these other game tracks on top of hers. Looks like a kudu track. So, although she is heading out of our area, but look, lions move around, and it has been a cool day, so they could easily have looped around and come back in. So maybe this afternoon we might pick them up, but right now we are a bit short on time, and this is only one individual, so maybe the rest of the pride might still be around. But with the weather we've had and being it so cool, I'm pretty sure they've all moved off. If you were around yesterday on the drive, you might have noticed that they had killed an impala. You could not have missed it. I'm pretty sure these are the same pride. Okay, we're just going to keep going, and if we do find any others, I will let you know. Okay. Yeah, there's just, so far it's just the one lioness, but hopefully we will find the others shortly. Okay. yeah, hopefully luck is on our side. Okay. Well, we'll let you know. We're going to link over to Taylor, to beetles that are mating. Exciting. Okay.
Look at what we've got. We've got, well, some mating carrion beetles. Hello. Having a grand old time. A little morning delight. I suspect that her meal was disturbed. How unfortunate. She doesn't seem to be too impressed by that. But anyways, so what we have found is some evidence that Tundi was around. Yeah, the crowd goes wild. Crack. Whatever sounds people make when they're applauding. But over here you can see lots and lots of dung. And this is indeed from yesterday, probably last night. So Tundi did eat something. We know that yesterday morning she ate a scrub hare. So it is quite possible that this is scrub hare. Did I say it? Scrub hare. And it also looks like there's ants and termites and things that have all been working here. Look here, she's just wanting food. Go, get off me. Need to eat the buffet of poop. She's trying desperately, but I think she's struggling slightly there. So that's quite nice. We don't really see too many tracks, but it looks like a couple of vehicles have driven here, which is making it quite difficult for us to see where she's gone. But I don't know if Tundi will hang around in this area for too long. I think that she can probably be on the move. So she's not here on a kill. She has given us the slip again. Classic Tundi. I think we should put together a couple of clips of every time Tundi has given us the slip and the presenter's reaction, because I think it'd be quite funny to see us all going, there she isn't, and well, she's just around the next corner, she's not, because it's amazing how she does that, and I reckon she's done that to us all quite a few times. Anyways, that's wonderful. Right, Senzo, your legs must be sore from crouching down like that. We're going to keep walking now. We're done. We're so far away from home. We're going to keep marching that way. Ooh. Project Alpha, stand by. It means I've got to correct my Instagram. I'm just joking. I'm not going to do that now while I'm live. Don't be silly. Fooled you all. So Project Alpha, thank you very much. You said you actually went back and had a look. The initial thought that was a wood shield bug that we saw, the ghost bug that we saw earlier. You've suggested that it could potentially be a woolly stink bug. Whew. So anyway, okay. What we'll do is I've got a couple of pictures. We can open a big insect book and we can have a look and we can, sort of check too. So let us know what you think. Do you think it was a wood bark shield bug thing, or... Look at all this information we're getting. Thank you, Project Alpha. You said it's pretty infamous because it's a agricultural bug, not a cultural bug. It wasn't there. Anyways. And it typically invades, did you say mangoes and something else? That's what it typically goes for. Okay. Very interesting. Avos. And lychees and macadamias, I like all of those things. I don't like that bug anymore. I thought it was quite cool, but no, not when it's getting the avos. That's ridiculous. Wonderful. We're going to keep marching home now because we're all ravenous and we're very far. So I'll send you to the Mara, to Lauren, for the last few moments of this morning's safari.
Oh, I'm ravenous too, 100%. I'm always hungry, but yes, ravenous, and I'm going to get my breakfast at a decent time today. Now, just a few minutes prior, this herd of elephants walked right past a hyena den. They're quite off into the distance right now, I think James is going to give us a view of the relation to the den and the elephants, but they walked very, very close by and the hyenas scuttered. The young ones went inside and a few of the older ones disappeared off into the wilderness, so I'm not actually 100% sure where they went. But this is, let me just double check, yes, of course, it's 9:30 Kenya time, and this is actually the time that I would assume that the hyenas would go back inside their den anyway. Once it starts to get way past early morning, the sun sun is up, all the animals are awake, it's getting warmer. That is when the hyenas genuinely do tend to jump back inside their den. Anyway, I'm just going to move a little bit forward and see if there is any hyenas around the side, because we did completely lose track of them. There was so many, and if not, we will just continue ahead and see if we can get a little bit closer to those elephants. Are you guys in there? You can come and say goodbye to everybody. James, can you see any hyenas? No, he's got much better eyesight than I have. No, I think they literally all have scuttled away. And that is the den now pretty much inactive. So that'll be it for the day, and I promise I've had my hyena fix for today. So we've spent a wonderful morning with them, and I promise you, let's take a look at these topies in the distance, and I promise you that that is my fix for today. This afternoon we will go out and see what else we can find. I know some of you are desperate for some lion action, and me too. As I mentioned, we did see the triangle boys yesterday, and one of the females, oh, there we go. Some lovely topies for you. That's exactly what the lioness I was just about to say had yesterday. So we will try our best to just drive this afternoon and get some update on the lions for you. I am desperate to see some cubs, literally desperate. So thank you everybody for joining us today, for all your fantastic questions and comments. I hope you enjoyed your time at the hyena den, because we did spend a lot of time there and just trying diving into more of the dynamics. So please do join us this afternoon for the Sunset Safari. See you later.